need that sports encyclopedia. U.S. Steve Kim. Got Trent in the cut.
What are you?
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's a master motivator.
I'm a master motivator. I ain't no regular ass motivator. I'm a fucking master.
Coaches tried to make practice so hard that the game was less intrusive. Like they coached you that way. Like people think, well, they were just yelling. No, they were trying to put you under stress and put you in under duress so that when you got in the game, you could mentally handle adversity.
If you go through JUCO and you make it out of JUCO, you can make it anywhere.
I respect the hell out of you to see that you're doing what you're doing and still doing what you're doing for real, the way you do it, man. From day one, you had the same enthusiasm. You keep the same enthusiasm, and it's fucking contagious.
In my opinion, I think Shedeur Sanders is the best deep ball in college football. I don't think
Can you just say something nice about Shedeur Sanders?
I love talking ball. It's nice to connect with guys that are like-minded and just are real and genuine.
And I proudly stand up next to you all. God bless America.
You said belt to ass, T-Rich. You got the belt around you. Coach JB Show.
What up? We are in the building. It is Merciless Monday. I'm taking no mercy. It is college football playoff debacle. I'm going to call it that. NFL mid-Sunday. We're going to break that down. Plus Juan Soto at the plate signs for $765 million non-deferred. Topping Ohtani right here in LA. Are the Mets trying to steal my Doyers fame? We're going to dive into that too. But we got a loaded lineup today, boy. I'm going to just tell you, right out the gate, we got a lot to discuss. And it starts with the college football playoff bracket. It is set, and the play begins with Indiana versus Notre Dame in the state of Indiana. Smitty's favorite place to be on December 20th, a Friday night, 15 degrees. Make it make sense. Play that shit on Saturday afternoon when it's at least 30 degrees. God damn. The NCAA transfer portal is officially open until December 28th. 3 days after Christmas, it will close before many of the major bowl games. Make it make sense again. UCF hires Scott Frost again to be the head coach. I bet you money, dollars to dimes, UCF is in the college football playoff before his replacement at Nebraska will be in the playoffs. And I love both to death, but I'm just telling you right now. Let that sink in. Southern Miss hires Charles Huff away from Marshall, and Purdue hires in a surprising move for me, UNLV head coach Barry Odom to be their next head coach. Man, it's a very, very interesting one. I can't wait to break into this. Ohio University wins a bowl game. Their head coach goes in immediately after the game and says, hey, guess what, guys? Thanks for everything, but I'm leaving too. We got a lot to discuss, man. Opt-out bowl is what they're calling the Bama versus Michigan game. And let me say something about these kids who want to opt out and for the coaches who allow it. But before that, I got to bring in my main man, my lovely co-host, Naptown legend and Far East Sider, the 317, Fox Sports' very own, Caitlin Clark loving, Lamar Jackson jocking, AR5, Indianapolis Colts swinging, my main man, LeBron hairline having, Big Smitty. Bring my main man in real quick. We got a lot to discuss, Big Smitty.
We got a lot to discuss.
We got a lot going on. But the first one is Indiana plays Notre Dame in your home state.
In my hood.
On a Friday night. 15 degrees.
15 degrees.
You can't take your kids.
Can't take your kids.
Can't take your girl.
Cannot take your girl.
Too cold.
Way too cold.
Why not do it in the sunlight Saturday morning?
Because we built different. When you play football in Indiana, we built different. We used to playing in the cold, the ice, the sleet, the snow. To y'all, it's crazy. To us, it's a regular old Friday football situation. High school football is over in Indiana, so why not play on that Friday? We're not interrupting the high school football schedule. I love it being on Friday. Switch it up, make it different. You got IU, Notre Dame is going to be a packed house. They're going to be drinking beer, tailgating all day. That's going to be the game of the entire playoffs. Watch what I tell you.
Well, I don't believe Indiana should even be in the playoffs, but we're going to dive into that as well. Let's start this show off with a banger, Smitty. This show is powered by BetUS. The College Football Playoff Committee got it wrong once again. A bunch of people who don't understand anything and a group who all claim one thing but do the exact opposite. And I'll explain in a second. Here's what I think should happen. Nick Sabin, Urban Meyer, Pete Carroll, Coach Frank Beamer, Jim Tressel, who's now the president at Youngstown State, and a few bureaucrats that you love so much out there. Everybody wants to bring politics into football and sports, and you want to make them some people who actually coached at least. If I'm going to use a politician or a bureaucrat to put on this committee, you better at least grab a Tommy Tuberville or at least get a few women out there who actually understand the entire scope from betting to the odds to the actual football knowledge. There are some females out there you can possibly find. We'll dive into that as well from my main man, TJ Moe on Whitlock, who broke that down earlier. But let's dive into some of my main reasons as to why they got it wrong, Smitty. We already know I don't like the 12-team playoff. It is what it is. That's my opinion, okay? Would have left it at 4. That's just me, the old man on the porch. Now, it is 12. I need to accept that as well as everyone else. And now let's dive into this particular 12 teams that they selected yesterday before the NFL games kicked off at 10 in the morning here on the West Coast. Oregon, Boise, ASU, Georgia, all won conference titles, right?
Yep.
Hey, Smitty, okay. But Boise isn't even in the big boy discussion when it comes to strength of schedule, nor does it pass the eyeball test when it comes to common opponent strength of schedule. They do, however, have the best loss of the season in a last-second field goal loss to Oregon. Now, if Boise goes on to win it, Smitty, then I'll shut up, and the committee is a bunch of geniuses. Now, Oregon, who gets the number 1 overall seed, will get a bye, but will sit there, Smitty, and wait for one of the 2 best teams in America. They're going to play Ohio State again, or possibly Tennessee, who defensively could stop anybody in America. And if Nico's on fire, that team on offense is as good as anybody. And this Tennessee team can go on a run and win it all. Now, how do you claim to get it right if this is the reward for the regular season dominant performance you had in Oregon? The regular season seems to not have played a role in this selection and this committee whatsoever, Smitty. And I think that is the number 1 reason why it's wrong. If we're not going to pay attention to the regular season, the strength of schedule in that season, and the common opponent strength of schedule, we got it wrong. Georgia loses 2 games, Smitty. 1 to Ole Miss, who is out of the playoff.
Right.
And 1's to Bama, who is out of the playoff. Now, just let that sink in for you guys. Please let that sink in. Ole Miss beat Georgia. Bama beat Georgia. Both are out of the playoff. Now, I want to be clear. Georgia did beat Texas twice, who only lost twice on the season. So, to me, Texas looks and passes the eyeball test as they belong. They belong to me. Both losses are to Georgia, one of the most dominant teams over the last 5 years. But remember, Smitty, Texas did not beat a top 25 team this year. ASU wins the conference. Although the weakest conference in the group, they go 11-1 with their quarterback, 0-1 without him. They beat 4 top 25 teams and passed the eyeball test with a running back being a horse in Scatteraboo, along with a quarterback who is playing as well as anyone in the country. Now, as for Texas, Smitty, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Notre Dame, Clemson, Indiana, and Penn State, Smitty. Let me talk about them. Tennessee has the best schedule, strength of all these teams. Notre Dame has the worst loss of these teams, and Ohio State has the second worst loss to end the season, which is equally as bad as Notre Dame's loss to Northern Illinois. SMU didn't beat a top 25 team all year long. Neither did Indiana. And Penn State beat absolutely nobody. And didn't even play Indiana, Smitty, which could have at least eliminated one of these two mediocre teams, in my opinion, which would have allowed for another team like Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, or Alabama in. Now, I'm speaking fast. I get it, but we're going to dive into all this in depth. Just hear me out. As for my bracket, we got a bracket that I wanted to put in. We will dive into it. We will dive into it with Big Smitty, but I have my own bracket, and it's going to be controversial. It's going to start to show off with a bang or wherever Bailey has it. But listen, Smitty, we're here. We are here strong. Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, ASU number 2?
Woo. No, that's just one of the buys. That I didn't really put in order. I just gave it to Bailey. Bailey made this beautiful little artwork for me. They wouldn't be 2. I'd probably have
no, I got you.
That's roughly that's my team.
Yeah.
That's my teams.
You got South Carolina and Alabama in. I disagree with this strongly, man. Like I think we want to put Alabama in here just because they're Alabama. I think we're so lost in the history of how great Alabama has been with Nick Sabin that we just want to put them in there. But Alabama wasn't that good this year, man. I'm just calling it.
I feel you. But here's why. I said it 2 months ago on this show. I said I wouldn't be shocked if 5 SEC teams got in, and based on how the season was going, I wouldn't be mad at 5 SEC teams getting in because I'm grown up and grew up in the era where the strength of schedule and common opponent mattered. Right. And that is what the guy goes right on after the committee, or right after the selection committee goes on. The commissioner goes on, who ironically has Michigan ties, goes on there and basically says, okay, strength of schedule surely matters. And then Lane Kiffin goes straight to the internet and was like, he did not just say that. Because that is blasphemy. That is an absolute joke. Now, is the SEC overrated this year, Smitty? Absolutely. Yeah. But here's why. Because football's watered down. Like I've been telling y'all, there is no dominant conference anymore, Smitty. There is no dominant conference anymore. But if we took the lesser of all evils and I took the absolute best teams that play the best teams, meaning that I have to play Alabama 1 week, and the very next week I got to get ready for Ole Miss. And then the very next week I got to get ready for, let's just say, a Vanderbilt who was much better than anybody else expected. And then I got to go play Georgia. And those are a 4-week span. That matters to me, dog, because it goes by the injuries. It goes by the strength of schedule. It goes by who the talent is I got to face every week. The SEC still, even in a down year, played a much better conference schedule than anybody else. And we're bitching and moaning about Alabama playing Mercer at the end of the year and Georgia playing out. But that's been that way, Smitty, since the BCS was invented, when they just took the number 1 and the number 2 team and no one else had a say in anything. We just played number 1 and 2 at the end of it all. 1 played 2, and it was it, right, Smitty? That was it. Right. There was nothing else. I listen, I'm not an SEC guy. I'm a West Coast guy. We've scrapped a Pac-12 team, by the way, which Oregon won their conference and Arizona State won their conference championship. That's in a league we scrapped. Wazoo went 8-3 or whatever. Some decent football was still being played out here on the West Coast in a league we scrapped that USC wanted to do. SC was the lead of this. They wanted to scrap it, and they were the worst fucking team in the whole goddamn thing. Irony is a real thing, and I'm glad USC is taking it in the ass right now. Pause. Here's what I have to say, Smitty. We're gonna dive into this bracket. I don't know where Bailey has it, but let's start with the quote of the day and get that started, and the poll question and everything. But I want to dive into the bracket. I know that's going to be a discussion, plus the actual bracket the committee selected. But it is a big day. We got some high energy today to bring to the show because we got a lot to discuss on this Super Bowl champ E-Dub Eric Weddle Monday. Big Matt McChesney will join us to give his take on the college football playoff selection, plus Colorado's Alamo Bowl selection versus BYU, which I think is a horrible, horrible matchup. Doesn't bring any energy to this whole thing. It allows other guys to opt out because it's not the game people wanted. Why not play them versus Miami? Why not? This is, again, why the committee got this wrong. We're going to dive into all these bowl games. We got a lot to discuss. First of all, Smitty, let's do this. Quote of the day brought to you by BetUS. Smitty, head on over. What up, what up, what up? I am here for BetUS. BetUS is now powering the Coach AB Show with Big Smitty as our proud new sponsor. Head on over to BetUS today and bet all things Major League Baseball. We're in the thick of the playoffs. NBA is getting ready to start up, and the NFL is right dab in the middle of the season. You can bet it all on BetUS. Short, fast, skinny, tall, they bet it all. And make sure you use my promo code CoachJB and get you 150% off, up to $2,000 on your first bet and up to 125% off on your second and third bet if you choose to do so. Plus, you get insurance protection and gambler's protection on both second and third bets. So make sure you head on over to betus.com, use my promo code CoachJB, and make it happen. BetUS, the best offshore book in the business. Head on over there today. Is that proud new sponsor, the Coach AB Show with Big Smitty. BetUS. Go check it out. Peace.
Let's get it. Quote of the day, man. My favorite segment of the day, man. We're going to knock this out, get right back to the college football bracket because I definitely got some disagreements with you on your bracket and some stuff you're saying. But quote of the day, JB, what do we got?
Let's dive into it, Smitty. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Ooh. Real simple. A lot of you guys don't understand that you sit there and bitch and moan and cry and then dream about nothing and sit there and waste your whole day's energy on wishing for something that never happens when it takes the exact same energy, Smitty, to go fucking plan on actually doing it.
That's a real one. That's a real one. So what you're saying is you might as well just plan. Like, if it's going
Just
to take the same
fucking
energy, you might as well just plan.
I mean, Smitty, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other one and see which one fills up first. Contrary to belief, brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over to Prize Picks today and use our promo code CoachJB. Smitty, entertainment is temporary. It's temporary happiness. Entertainment is temporary happiness. I want everybody to understand this because contrary to belief, real happiness is permanent entertainment. Entertainment is temporary happiness. Real happiness is permanent entertainment.
That might be tight. That might be top four. Like that made me think a little bit.
Yeah, they're not ready for this morning. I'm on one. I've been up all day.
I can tell. You know difference about JB.
Yeah, this whole shit. Poll question, Smitty. Let's dive right into it, and we're gonna get back to the college football playoff, which this poll question has something to do with. Should SMU, Penn State, Indiana have gotten into the college football playoff? That is the poll question. We're going to dive into this bracket, my bracket and the real bracket. But those three teams in particular, Smitty, I don't agree should belong. I don't believe SMU, Penn State, or Indiana should have gotten in the playoff. I love Cignetti and what he's done in Indiana. James Franklin continues to just disappoint us when we're expecting something to happen that never happens. It continues to just create the same thing over and over and over. He cannot win a big game. Neither can Ryan Day, but they're going to get in, obviously, because they're Ohio State. And SMU, Smitty, they didn't beat a top 25 team all year long. Bailey, I sent you something on Instagram that actually showed the strength of schedule per the bracket, the actual bracket of every team. If you can find it, I sent it to you on Instagram, I think. But here's the thing, Smitty. I don't believe SMU should be in it just because of who they played. Now, listen, let's dive into the whole discussion.
Let's do it.
Answer the question, though. Do you believe those 3 teams should be in?
I'm going to say no. 2 out of the 3 teams should be in. I agree with you on SMU. I think SMU should not be in. I would have put Miami above them personally. As much flaws that Miami showed all season and putting they back against the wall in certain situations and then losing. When my eyes work, when I look at the overall talent, I look at the fact they got Cam Ward over there. I look at that offense. Even though the defense struggles a little at times, that offense is explosive. I think Miami should have got the slight bump over SMU because of the schedule, eye test, overall talent. But I'm good with Penn State and IU being. I think IU earned it, man. IU's been balling all year long. I think we're looking at them just because they're Indiana, and it's tough for us to imagine Indiana as a top 10 team. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. They're a basketball school. But what Chris Signetti has done down there in Bloomington, hey, hat off. Got to give them the flowers.
While you're talking, I just want to say one thing, though. You mentioned, I get the Indiana and all that shit, but you can't put Miami in over SMU, in my opinion, because they didn't even play in their own conference championship. And that's my argument with the committee. That's my argument with the naysayers and the fans out here who do not understand how this was how this whole college football playoff was derived. How we came up with this whole plan years ago was strength of schedule was A, conference champions were B, and then conference attendance, meaning you played in the conference title game. For instance, Alabama and Georgia both have 1 loss. They play each other in the conference championship game. One of those teams won. The other team's probably getting in, right? That's how it was supposed to work. In a power conference, that's why we created Power 5, and then they had Group of 5. Now we've even changed that. We've continued to keep letting mediocrity slip in there, and now we're getting into the brains of all these people who think, oh, this is better. This 12-team playoff, as it came through, and then we just saw the committee's pick it yesterday, is a joke. More and more I talk about it, looks like even more of a joke.
But JB, but just because you disagree with 3 teams doesn't make the entire thing a joke. I mean,
I just wanted to ask you those 3. I disagree with more, but I just wanted to ask you those 3 because those 3 are glaring to me.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. I mean, Penn State to me, I mean, I think part of what you do too, and you might disagree, but just for me being your co-host, you look at the history of certain teams and certain coaches, and that kind of plays a role in your thought process. Like you mentioned James Franklin, and you mentioned the fact that he can never get over the hump and never get over big games and never do this and never do that and never. Listen, Penn State lost against Oregon, say what you want, but I think a lot of us went to that game thinking that game would not be like that, not be that close. And Penn State played Oregon just about as good as they could have possibly played them. And yeah, they fell short, but Oregon is the number 1 team in the country. So, I mean, it was a shootout. What was it, 45-37?
But who Boise should have beat, Smitty?
Yeah, but that was what was that, week 3, week 4?
Yeah, I was a long time ago. But that's Boise's only loss.
I don't even remember it. It was so long ago.
I get it. But that's Boise's only loss.
I hear you, but I'm saying it was a long time, and Boise's in, and Boise should be in. But I'm saying I think Penn State should be in too. Like it makes sense to. We got
so much to dive into, Smitty. I don't know, Bailey. Do you have that percentages? Do you have that? I know he's put something in it. Here you go, Smitty. I think that tells a tell. And let me change the poll question for you, Smitty. Let me ask you a poll question that's off the top of my head. I thought about last night. This is what, to me, sums up this particular new age 12-team playoff. If I asked you a new poll question, Smitty, and I asked you this honest-to-God question, you have to answer me straight up. Answer me right now, yes or no, real fast. Don't even think about it. That's going to tell me if you think this is BS or not. Is there 12 teams, Smitty, in this playoff that are worthy of playing for a national title? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, come on, man. Yes. Indiana's not worthy of a national title run. SMU's not worthy of
but you can't tell me Bama is, though. Bama did not look good.
I'm asking you, this is the reason I asked you that question is because when we had 4 teams, at least we knew these 4 teams were possibly going to have a shot at winning it. Yeah, you have the anomaly year that you all want to talk about TCU getting blown out by Georgia. Let's keep it real. TCU beat Michigan, though, in the Final Four. They were worthy of a Final Four.
Michigan gave it to them, but you're right. Michigan gave it to them, but you're right. You're right.
I get it, Smitty, but these teams don't deserve.
Watch that game.
It doesn't matter, Smitty. They won. That means they were belonging. Come on now.
Okay. Stop right there. So if Boise wins their game, their first game after their bye, if Arizona State wins their game, if one of these teams who you think don't belong, if they win their game, then they belong then. So we'll see. So you're so hung up and mad. Let's see. Listen, I'm on the side of competition. Let's see it. Now, if let's say IU beats Notre Dame, they go off to face Georgia, and Georgia just destroys them like 65-7. All right, JB, maybe you got a point. Maybe we'll look at this like, dang, that was a waste. Well, why do we watch that for? But let's see it. I don't know. Like, I'm not so hung up on the only team to me that's like kind of proving themselves to be like the most like just dominant. And even they have a lot of flaws. Is Oregon. Everybody else can lose. I don't trust Georgia. I don't trust Ohio State. I don't trust Texas.
I trust Georgia more than anybody in this.
I don't trust Georgia. That same
you
Georgia team.
You don't trust the team.
Georgia team lost to Bama still. I didn't forget that. A Bama team who don't look good.
But Smitty, you don't trust a team with a coach who's won 3 out of the last 5. And
Georgia.
Come on, dog.
I don't trust Georgia.
Who you have come on this show and said Texas is the best roster and best team in football. You've said it multiple times. Mm-hmm. Texas is the team you like. This team, Georgia, who you don't trust, beat them twice.
But Georgia is flawed. They've shown me.
But all of them are. That's my point of having 12. Like, that's what I'm saying. This is the whole point of having 12.
Listen, my point in saying that, JB, is that you're acting like when you say teams like IU is not worthy, or you say Penn State isn't worthy, I would not be shocked at all if either of those teams go on a run and make the Final Four at all.
To be honest, you're right, because this is so watered down. I wouldn't be shocked.
It's not even about watered down. It's about the fact that the talent has been spread out because of the transfer portal, because of NIL, because of multiple different factors. Talent has been spread out. Certain teams this season have arrived, and that's okay. Stop being so lost in the fact that you just want the same Bama, Georgia, Clemson. You want the same 4 teams that are always good every single year to be good. And to you, that means that's good.
Smitty, you sound like everybody else.
Good. Now you're like, oh my gosh, it's watered down. No,
Smitty.
It's a new day and age.
Smitty, you sound like everybody else that didn't get in the playoff last year. You sound like everyone's fan base who didn't get in the playoff. You want them to go again. You're tired of seeing Alabama. You're tired of seeing Georgia. Guess who's still in it? The same fucking teams, except for Bama got left out because they had a horrific loss to Oklahoma. But we have a team in SMU, Indiana, and Penn State who beat no one this year. No one. And they didn't even play each other. And I'm going to take the team that played the actual teams in the SEC over the teams that didn't play anybody. I'm just going to do that. If we really want to put the best 12 most talented rosters, which you just said, I want to see a Cam Ward in a Miami over a team that represented the conference in a title game in SMU. So you can't say that in one side of your mouth and then say this out the other side, dog. It don't make no sense. You can't vouch for a team that didn't even play in their title game over a team that did and say we want the most talented teams in the playoffs.
What was Miami's 2 losses?
Huh?
What was Miami's 2 losses?
Miami's 2 losses?
Yeah. It was a good Syracuse team. Georgia
Tech.
And a good Syracuse team.
I mean, how good are they? But yeah.
I'm just saying.
But how many times did we watch Miami and say, well, they should have lost to Cal, they should have lost to fucking Pitt, they should have lost to
times.
Louisville, they should have lost to, all these teams.
Bama lost 3 and still had 2 other games that we said that too. So that's my point.
Listen, I'm not an advocate.
And I like Cam Ward over Jalen Milroe all day long.
I don't want to advocate for Bama. Like all I'm saying is, I told you I would have took Miami actually over Bama for the simple fact that at the time, this was 2 weeks ago, at the time, on the simple fact that Bama's losses are worse than Miami's losses.
Exactly.
But Bama's wins are as good or better than anyone else's in the country. So, now you have to take a committee. That's why, to me, a committee could be comprised of coaches and players that played and coached, such as Sabin, who came on yesterday's committee after the selection was done and gave great points as to why this and why this. That's why I believe he should be on the committee. I believe Urban Meyer should be on the committee. A Pete Carroll, if he wants to get involved, who's done it forever. Our main man from Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer, I believe should be on. He was on those committees forever. Even go grab old school legendary Tom Osborne, who's been in politics and football. If you want to bring in politics to it and you want to bring the Condoleezza Rices and all these other politicians onto these committees, then I think you should do that with players that are former players who's also politicians. It doesn't matter about if you like right or left or whatever. I'm not even discussing that. I'm talking about former players and coaches who have some sort of political affiliation. If you want so much political affiliation brought into your football playoff, because that's what we're doing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you, we have brought politics and bureaucrats into the committee, and to me, it's a joke. I think we need to keep it apart from each other, but since you have done it, Smitty, since they have already done it without me and you saying anything, then at least bring in politicians and bureaucrats that have played or coached. And there's several out there now who want to dabble into politics who still played and coached. Tommy Tuberville, played for a lot, but coached for a long, long time in the SEC. Your boy Tom Osborne, coached for a long, long time. National championship coach. Best coach, one of the top 5 coaches ever. Bring them in. Give them their take. Let them say, all right, here we go. This is why we need to do this. I don't understand the fact that we are doing what we're doing right now. If you're going to bring in some sort of political affiliation, then you need to have some sort of political figure that knows the game. I just don't understand. If we talk strength of schedule for so long, Smitty, and we embedded it in all of our casual minds out here,
right?
It seems to me now that the money, when I mean money, I'm talking DraftKings, FanDuel, betting sites, has convoluted or got its way in to the minds of the selectors. And I believe that's truly to be true. SMU's in the heart of Dallas, Smitty, got big oil money. SMU can, I believe, in my opinion, can compete with anybody's collective if they really want to dive into it. We were doing that, not we, but they were doing that shit with Eric Dickerson and the Pony Express in the fucking 80s before anybody even knew what was going on.
Right.
Eric Dickerson was rolling around a Trans Am when everyone thought that shit was the next thing, Lamborghini. I'm just telling you, Trans Am at the time, Smitty, was fucking big act. I'm just saying, SMU has long, long money. It's ironic that they got in and didn't even balk at them not being in either. They got beat by a Clemson team, and I thought that was it. I was like, no way SMU can afford to lose this and be in this committee, still be in tomorrow. And they didn't even balk. They were still in it. To me, that screams, we need that money, money, money. Like Texas Longhorns, money, money, money. Clemson, money, money, money. Tempe, Arizona. Do you know what the fuck's in Tempe? Now,
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I'm not using
they won their conference. To me,
yeah, I know. I don't say they belong.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, shout out to Oliver Patterson, man. Is that how you spell your last name?
I ain't seen one of these in a long time.
Shout out from Sweden. That's how they spell their last name in Sweden. Shout out to you, brother. Answer that question, Smitty.
What's $100 in Sweden? How's that convert?
It might be like $10. Man.
Okay, and I still appreciate it. JB, what do you think about making either 8 or 16 conferences and only the conference champs get in the playoff? Hell yeah or hell no? Love the show from Sweden.
No, I'm gonna say no on that. Good question. Here's what I have to say, man. This is what I want to ask you guys. I believe conference champs should automatically get in the playoff.
All right.
I do not believe conference champs should automatically get a bye. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And not all of them get a bye.
Well, they did.
No, I mean, for example, Clemson won. Clemson don't get a bye.
Well, yeah, they're too low ranked.
But I'm just saying, everyone don't get a bye. Yeah.
I just, but see, here's the thing though. Like me speaking, even though I'm not high on Clemson this year, as high as I would be, I would have the conference champs since we have 4 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why those aren't all the, I guess the one seed in their particular bracket. Like that's how I look at it. Boise won, but they're not a P4 or whatever you want to call it. They're not. I want to know how that is all of a sudden changed in front of our very eyes and no one's discussed it. Boise State would never, Smitty, ever, ever, ever in any other college football selection committee be selected this high, ever. Like if there was 12-team playoff back in the day when they were undefeated, they would probably barely have got in at 12. Like I'm just saying, now all of a sudden they're getting a bye. I believe Boise should be in for winning their conference, beating UNLV twice, running Barry Odom out of there, by the way. We're going to dive into. But at the same time, if we're going to be real, man, Tennessee would have a bye, would be in that area for me. Tennessee would have been put in there. Even Ohio State. Notre Dame's on its own. I have no sympathy for Notre Dame. You got to shit or get out the pot. You got to get into a conference. I'm not going to advocate for Notre Dame. You need to get into a conference or you stay where you are. I don't care. You get in the playoff, but you play all the games because you're not going to get a bye because you won't shit or get out the pot. You want that ABC money? Then that's all it is. NBC, that's it. That's what it is. But Tennessee, to me, has the strength of schedule, Bailey, if you could bring them back up. If you just look at the SMU, the SMU, the Boise, and the Notre Dame strength of schedules, and you look at them, let's look at them, dog. SMU 75th, to your point, Miami's 20 ranked higher, 20 points, 20 spots ranked higher, but they didn't make their conference title game. So you need to take these equations, Smitty, to me, and you need to graph them and say, okay, here's strength of schedule, here's conference of championship appearance, and then here's conference title winner. So Clemson won the title. They get an automatic whatever we decide, right?
Right.
SMU's the runner-up. Those two teams, to me, automatically trump Miami. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I hear what you're
That's
saying.
me thinking. Because if you don't do that, to me, you basically tell everybody that the regular season means nothing. This was the main thing about it. The regular season strength of schedule was the first implementation in this whole thing when we started creating how to pick and select playoff teams. And now it seems to be said, but not done. Because it's being said to hence my opening monologue, they're saying all these things, but they're not doing them. And no one's calling them out. Like, no, dog, we're not that dumb. You're saying strength of schedule, but look at this shit, Smitty. You're not saying strength of schedule. You're saying it on TV, but you're not doing it with your committee who sits around watching the games. And I'm sitting there like, how is this committee really sitting here telling me that Penn State beat anyone? Remember, quality of wins was the second criteria. Who did they beat?
Yeah, but I mean, Penn State actually not that bad. 36 on the level of the schedule isn't that bad, actually, in my opinion. In comparison
to me,
to
you got to go undefeated then. If you're that low, like Oregon was low, but they went undefeated. See what I'm saying? Like, to me, you got to show me that your strength of schedule doesn't marry up. You can't lose 2 games, Ohio State, and have this 26 ranked schedule.
26 though.
I know, I get it, but you can't lose 2 games and not one at the end of the season. Remember, when the criteria came out, you lose late in the year, Smitty, it hurt everybody. You lose that last game of the year to Michigan rival, you're probably not getting in. If we had a Final Four,
but Ohio State was like top 5, I think, when they took the L, right, in the country. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Maybe Bailey can find it for me. I think they were like a 3 seed or something, a 4 seed.
Yeah, they were.
So I'm saying they did get hurt. They dropped low, but
but what I'm saying is, if this was a Final Four, they wouldn't have been in because they lost the last game of their season versus a common rivalry. And to me, you should be out. The Oregon loss is great. I get it.
This is why I personally like the 12 because
I know
it was multiple years when that happened with Ohio State, and I'm like, I know they lost, but like I don't know. It's like I go big on my eye test, man. And I'm like, I know they lost, but Ohio State is good enough to be in this playoff. You cannot tell me right now that you would just be completely shocked if Ohio State ran the table. You would not be shocked.
Hold on, so wait up though, D. Jones and Kobe. When did I say Miami deserves? Show my bracket, Bailey. When did I say Miami deserves to be in? Where's Miami at on my thing?
Nowhere.
I'm gonna wait, Kobe and D. Jones, fucking dick riders who don't listen. Show me where Miami is on my bracket, motherfuckers. See, all you motherfuckers want to talk, homie. I don't understand. I never selected Miami. They're saying you picked Miami, Smitty.
I did. Yeah, I over SMU.
They're talking about you.
I did.
Why would you show my bracket real quick? Let me dive into this.
You got South Carolina on that thing.
Okay, let's dive into it. You want to argue this? Let's dive into it. I know you disagree with this. Here's why I have Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss. All right. First of all, you cannot put South Carolina in over Bama or Ole Miss. So I thought South Carolina having the quality wins that it did have, and then beating Clemson, who was a conference champ in the ACC, who beat SMU, by the way. Just remember.
Hold on.
Huh?
So, see, I see what you're doing. It's like you waited till Clemson won, and now in hindsight, since they won,
but that's how the committee should work.
Wins bigger.
Smitty, that's how the committee should work. Smitty, that's how the committee should work, though. Should it not? Like, shouldn't the committee work like this when you see the whole body of work? Like, that's what the committee's supposed to do. So you're telling me there's already preemptive strikes on who they're putting in. Then that's bullshit, too. So the committee already said, Clemson's getting in regardless, is what you're telling me?
Well, no, I mean, after they won, you're right. After they beat SMU, they were getting in. If they would have lost that game, there's no way Clemson gets in. There's zero way. That's what 3 losses, I think.
They're still
losses.
They beat the team they just beat, though, in SMU, right?
Yeah.
Is ranked ahead of them. Now tell me that this shit is not completely fucking a joke. Like, let me give you my rationale and then you argue it. I got South Carolina in, but with that being said, I have to put Ole Miss and Bama in. Or I keep it as is and I don't put Ole Miss or Bama in, and that way South Carolina can't get in either. I hope that makes sense to everybody listening to what I'm saying. No, it
does. Like, basically what you're saying is you believe South Carolina did enough to get in. But if you bring them in, you have to put Bama and Ole Miss in there.
You have to bring in two teams that beat them at their home place. Right. Ole Miss went to Columbia and beat South Carolina. Bama beat you. You should have never lost that game, South Carolina. They beat you. But having said that, Clemson's strength of schedule and quality wins still, to me, trump Boise, Indiana, Penn State, and SMU. So I would take those teams out. By having said that, Ole Miss beat Georgia, Smitty. That's a win that no one else has other than who? Bama. So those two teams should be in based on my rationale. That's the only thing I'm saying. And we already know Tennessee also, who beat who? Bama. Should be in because Bama is in. So you understand, at least I have a fucking process that I've sit down and thought about other than this committee who's just throwing shit at the wall, seeing if it sticks. I'm taking Penn State out based on strength of schedule, based on no quality wins, based on a struggle win against NSC, who can be nobody, and then getting absolutely dominated by Ohio State, who lost to Oregon, who you just played in the Natty or in the conference title game, which I get was a close game scoreboard-wise, but if you watch the game with the eye test, they weren't really in that game. They didn't belong in that game. Oregon was so much more athletic on the perimeter. Their wide receivers were unguardable. Penn State is so stiff in the secondary. There's no way Penn State's going to go and beat any of these other teams with more athletic perimeter players, and Oregon just proved it. They proved to me why Penn State should not be in. They beat nobody. They lost to two somebodies, and they struggle with a horrific SC team who lost to Minnesota, Michigan, and Maryland. So now having said that, I move on. South Carolina beat Clemson in the final game of the season, where Clemson goes and beats SMU and gets in the playoff because they're the conference champ. But they're not even the state of South Carolina's champ. You're not even your own state's champ, yet you're in the playoff while the state champion in South Carolina is sitting out. To me, makes zero sense. I'm replacing SMU, who lost by 3 to Clemson, with South Carolina, okay? Just be clear. Clemson won the title. Fair, you're in, but I have South Carolina in the playoff playing Clemson in a rematch. That's a rematch that a motherfucker should want to see. Not Ohio State, Oregon for the third time. Not Ohio State, Penn State again. Not Oregon, Penn State again. Clemson, South Carolina, state rivalry, first round, to me, makes sense. Now, Ole Miss, quality of win, Smitty. They got them. They have them. They beat Georgia. Bama has the same thing. Now, quality of losses, Bama, you screwed yourself. But I still go to strength of schedule, which was the original premise on creating a bracket. So I go to strength of schedule, Smitty, and I look at Alabama's strength. Okay, they beat Georgia, who beat Texas twice. I go and say, okay, who did they play? Tennessee. Look at the quality of schedule there. Look at the other teams that they played in that conference. I got to look at the strength of schedule and say, all right, Bama deserves to be in. Yes, they lost to a horrific Oklahoma team. The worst.
And lost against Vandy, who was okay.
No question.
Vandy ain't like no.
But if I look, but Smitty, that's to your point. Your point that you made about me. I'm thinking Bama's the Bama of old. You have to use that same process on your own self. Vanderbilt's not the same Vanderbilt of old. Vanderbilt is much better.
Even this year, like they're a good team, but they're not like.
But that's what I'm saying, though. They're a much better team than they have been, is my point. And that's why in my
to me, no way Bama should be in. Like that's the one team. Like we can argue about maybe some other teams.
But who did you have? Who would you actually put in there? Because this is the 12-team tournament. To me, it's around. Is it a round robin tournament, Smitty, or is it the best talent with the best schedules who have proven the hardest rigor through a 14-week season? Who do you want in there? Do you just want to gift? You want to gift people like people gifting memberships? You want to just gift guys in there? Or do you want the best possible teams to play each other? To me, even though the SEC's down, they're still got the best teams of all teams of all conferences.
But if that's the case, your argument, then it don't every year it could be a blind test. I'm just gonna pick Bama's gonna get in every single year, no matter what. Just gonna get in every single year, no matter what. Ole Miss will get in every single year. Because if you automatically think they have the hardest schedule and you put so much power into what strength of schedule is, which who defines that? I don't know who defines what strength of schedule is. Like
I'm not making up the rules. I don't think you're listening. I don't make up the rules. The strength of schedules have been the number one criteria for the last 15 years. I didn't make that up. I'm not on no committee. I'm just saying, listen, I get the SEC biasy. I get it because I'm a West Coast guy.
South Carolina lost to LSU, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my God.
That was okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was their.
They got 3 L's.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I get it. That's
what
I'm saying.
Conference championship.
I get it, Smitty, but who did SMU beat?
Makes my stomach hurt, homie.
But who did SMU beat? Who
they lose to? Who they lose to?
Who did Indiana beat? But yeah, you can lose to teams, Smitty. Here's your point. And I don't understand why you don't get it.
Because you went at Ohio State.
You and I are going
to Michigan. So,
but you and I are fighting, back to back. We're in an alley and we're fighting 20 all-comers and we're knocking cats out, but we're getting caught too. But we're taking on big-time MMA fighter after fighter after fighter, and we're winning them. But, man, we went 9-3, dog, because we took on the 20 best, craziest motherfuckers in the hood. Come on, man. You're telling me that that's equal to your frat boy going out to the fucking frat party and having to fight a motherfucker in a sweater vest every single day? No. Like, come on, man. If you're throwing haymaker after haymaker in a conference that actually plays legitimate football week in and week out, then that matters to me. I don't understand how we're not considering that. To me, it tells me that you just like any teams because they're new teams, and we're tired of seeing the same old teams, and that's kind of what your philosophy is. That is what
I'm saying. Reward teams for having phenomenal seasons. Who earned it? That's all.
Give them a bowl game.
That's all I'm saying.
Give them a bowl game. Then, to your philosophy, if we're going to be honest, Colorado should be in.
No, they lost 3 games, and they had bad losses, and Colorado don't check no boxes. Strength of schedule.
Clemson lost 3 games.
But they won a conference. Colorado didn't win the conference. Sure, the schedule was weak and the losses were bad. So Colorado don't check no losses. So no boxes. You got to take them out.
Of course they. I'm glad you said. I'm hoping you didn't just fucking say they deserve to be in. I'm just saying. Here's the issue.
But JB, listen, real
me,
quick
this
though.
isn't the best
Ultimately, what we're seeing is there's no perfect way to do this. Even your way, it ain't perfect; it's flawed. So we can judge
There
the
is no
committee.
perfect way.
No,
That's
I
why
know.
you
I'm
just
saying we
move
can
forward.
judge the committee all we want, but there's no perfect way. I don't care if we put Sabin in there, Urban Meyer, you put all the top dogs in the committee. Whatever they decide, still wouldn't be perfect. It's an opinionated thing to some extent, because why? Everybody don't play the same schedule. And, if every team in the nation have played the exact same schedule, then there is no argument. But that's not true. It's not realistic. So
I get
so
it.
always be
But here's the
opinion.
thing: we're advocating and we're talking about a few things. There's no perfect schedule, but I would take that's that argument we have all the time about experience, hands-on experience-based conversations. JJ Redick's never coached, but JB he deserves it. He played, and now he doesn't deserve it. He played, but he's never coached ever. Well, because JB he's got to get his feet wet. He's got to be able to learn. Well, you don't learn on the job as a head coach in the NBA. Your first job. That is very similar to my point as to why you put guys that have hands-on experience on these committees. Put a Nick Saban on the committee. At least if it isn't perfect, to your point, which I agree, it's never going to be perfect. At least I hear a guy like Nick Saban's take as to why he picked these particular teams. And if you know anything about Nick Saban and what he's done, integrity and character are his number 1 and 2 items checked on the box. So he's not going to go in there and select 8 fucking SEC teams. If you've watched him on College Football Game Day, he's literally picked against SEC teams this year and said they're not the same SEC teams that we are used to.
But subconsciously, though, I agree. Subconsciously, though, he would be SEC biased. It's not even his fault.
You're subconsciously thinking that, not him. See, Smitty, the difference is coaches. We walk a different light when we coach in life. Or when we coach our whole life. In real life, we live in a gray area kind of tube. That's why I'm so true. Just tell the truth. Oh, fuck, it is what it is. It's not just because it's not your truth doesn't mean it's not the truth. And just because I say it doesn't make me a hater. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. That's how Sabin would do it. That's how Tom Osborne would do it. That's how Frank Beamer would do it. I think we need to get Jim Tressel, who's a president and administrator who carries a lot of weight in the political world of, if we're going to be honest, administrators, presidents of universities, athletic directors who hold PhDs carry a little more weight when they walk into a room with another politician or committee member than just a coach. Then you have second tier would be a Nick Saban, 7-time national champ, walks in there, who's got integrity and character. And he gives you the do's and the don'ts, why and the why nots as to why SMU, Indiana, and Penn State shouldn't be in. Nick Saban also said the same thing as I said. I don't believe they should be in. Then you get a Frank Beamer. But here's Smitty. Here's what you think.
Hold on. Who did Saban want? He wanted Ole Miss in there in Bama, right? I bet he did.
Nah, he said Bama didn't deserve. But here's what. But again, I agree with his strength of schedule. That is, Nick Saban didn't come up with that rule, Smitty. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. None of us debating this thing came up with the strength of schedule rule. And then literally yesterday, after the committee selected this bracket, came out and said, we take strength of schedule as number 1 determinant. No, you didn't. Like we just showed you. We've proven that you didn't. Why are you? Only fight I have, Smitty, is why are you saying it? Don't say it because you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
That clip. To me, I always thought, I looked at this like a pie chart. Imagine like a pie chart, and there's different slices of that pie.
No, you look at the brain
determine who gets in, and there's different percentages for everything. But I didn't know, and again, I'm not saying I know you're right. I'm saying I didn't know that the strength of schedule slice was fucking 55% of the decision. I didn't know it was supposed to be that.
Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen. What Nick has to say.
Yeah, but my point earlier was that if SMU was 8 and they played in the conference championship game and they lost by 3 points, they shouldn't be penalized for that necessarily. But my question about all the strength of schedule, 15th strength of schedule versus 60th strength of schedule, that should have been taken into consideration before they ever played in the championship game. All right, so maybe they're ranked 12th, and if they win the game, they get in. If they lose the game, Clemson gets in. All right, so, but it wasn't that way, so now it looks like they have to get penalized But if it was done based on strength of schedule to start with, that wouldn't have been the case. So I really, think that playing in this conference, and I played in this conference for over 20 years, and when you have to go play Tennessee, then you got to go play LSU, then that team that you play next, you may be more vulnerable to. And you have to have a very mature, competitive team that has a lot of depth to be able to play through all these circumstances, and it's very, very difficult.
Listen.
So that last take to me, which I'm not even disagreeing with him, but to me, that proves to me that as real as Sabin is, of course, I'm not ever disrespecting Nick Sabin. Let's make sure we're clear on that. If you coached in the SEC for so long as he did, in your mind, you're always just gonna say it. To me, the SEC ain't like we said, it's not as great this year as it's been in the past. It's not. Because another coach in the Big Ten might be like, well, I disagree. I think it's harder to coach or to compete here or compete. You got Penn State, Oregon, you got Ohio State now. Like the big, even a down Michigan team is still dangerous. You still got I could argue other conferences too, and how their strength of schedule and how it is to play in the Big Ten week to week in the freezing cold temperatures and the physicality of the Big Ten and the run game. So I'm saying there's arguments for other things too. So I don't know, man. I just. Listen, we could disagree on 11th seed and 10th seed, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But I'm not mad at this. Put it like that. I'm not mad at. I think they got at least 9 of the teams right without us even arguing about. And there's going to be maybe 3 teams that we could swap and move around. That's how it always is. But I'm glad that now.
And this is many. We're gonna see what happens. And I know we're gonna dive into this all show long. And we got guests that we're going to bring this up with when they pop in here. We're going to have this discussion all day long.
Yep.
Before we move on, I got to ask you, and this is why I think the committee is a joke and why this selection committee is a joke. And this is why. If you say that the regular season mattered, and literally you said it yesterday when you selected these teams, then Oregon should not be playing a Tennessee, Ohio State in the first round for them in the second round of the tournament. It makes 0 sense. You absolutely show to the chat and to all these common naysayers points, JB, the SEC biasy. Then you just showed it again by selecting the way you did and having Oregon having to play a West Coast team, which we know the West and the SEC were the battlers for a long, long time in this thing when SC was dominant and then would take on one of these SEC common opponents and smoke them, but nobody wants to talk about that right now. What I'm saying is if you're going to use that, then it shows me that you used that same bias when you selected Oregon as the one, but having to play Ohio State again or a Tennessee team that's pretty fucking good as well. And to me, that is not deserving of an undefeated number 1 from week, basically, 3 on? You've dominated college football. You beat Ohio State. You beat your second best team in Penn State. You've gone on the road and won tough game. Listen, you beat another playoff team. You beat another playoff. You have a common opponent. You beat Boise, Penn State, Ohio State. You've beat 3 of the top 4 teams in this tournament. You've beat them this year. So, to me, that is not a fucking way to treat a team that you say strength of schedule and regular season matters, and they ran the table. And now they have to play that team. Why aren't they playing, the winner of Penn State SMU again? Or at least the winner of Texas Clemson again? Or even, to me, it makes sense.
But my question, I feel what you're saying 100%, but okay, so how would they do it from a structure standpoint? Is it okay, if you're number 1 seed, you just play the worst team that wins, or no?
Here's my take.
First seed was going to always play the winner of the 8-9. It just so happened Ohio State fell into Tennessee fell into that. That could have been Notre Dame. That could have been Penn State.
Here's how you fix it.
That way.
Here's how you fix it. You don't give the conference champs a bye necessarily. You get them in the playoff. That doesn't mean they get a bye. See, to me, if you just rank them 1 through 12 and put those teams in, and then you use your criteria take the top 5. So it'd be 4 and your non-conference Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then to me, if I'm the commissioner, I'm forcing Notre Dame to get into a bowl or into a league, or you can't even make the college football playoff. So that's just me. But anyway, to take the 4 and that 5, and then that's the top 5 from the gate, and then you seed it from there on based on your conference champ, which would be Clemson, who was a lower-ranked team, but you won your conference, right? So you would be low like they are, but if you went from 5 to 12 that way, you would never have the number 1 team play that team. They would end up playing the best 12 or 11 seed winner. They would play them. Or that 12 game, the number 12 slot playing whoever to 5 or whatever. That would have them playing. So it'd be Clemson, Texas here in this scenario. It's better to me. That's a better opportunity for Oregon. Get it. You got to win whoever you play against, but also give the team that went through the season undefeated some sort of fucking reward. It makes 0 sense. You just told us that the regular season means nothing. The 3 teams you beat that are in this playoff mean absolutely nothing. To me, that's more SEC biasy than it is the teams being left out that we won in. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Georgia definitely got blessed by the side of the bracket that they're on and getting to play the winner of Notre Dame IU because Georgia's going to more than likely win that game. Although, well, again, I'm not sold on any of them, but I would pick them to win that game. But I don't know. Like I said, it's not any perfect setup, but like I said, I'm excited to watch the competition. I'm also excited for this next person who's coming on to our show, man. The one and only Big Mac Mchezzie's in the building right now. Let's bring him on to the show. What's going on,
what
man?
up?
How you doing?
What's good? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, man. How's your back? You back feeling better or no?
Dude, my back is messed up bad. I had a 5-level
I got an eye problem, bro. I had to go to the doctor yesterday. My eye is so swollen shut. I couldn't open this eye right here. It's gotten way better, but it's the lid is so fucking swollen. Something's in there, got it confected, and it's just scraping my eyeball. I couldn't fucking sleep, couldn't see nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? It's actually, you can't tell today like you did yesterday. That motherfucker was like, yeah. So I don't know. We all got something, man.
You got pink eye, homie?
Nah, I don't get pink eye. That's contagious. I would have got it. Nah. Don't give it. You get pink eye from
AEs. Those AEs will give you pink eye now.
Yeah, that's if you eat.
That's why I asked that.
That's if you're the AE, though. I'm not the AE, though.
I don't know.
I don't know the rules on this.
That's the rule. I'm just giving you. I'm throwing out the rules. Speaking of the rules, I got to ask you these rules because I gave my own bracket to Bailey. Bailey made a very nice, elegant graphic for me. I'm old school, Matt, as everyone knows. I like it the old way. I like 4. I thought 4 was enough. I thought it was more competitive. I thought the true 4 got in. Shit, if it was me, Matt, I'd have just number 1 and 2 play like old school. But anyway, I don't believe the committee got it right. I think they got it about as bad as you can actually get it. I think that the strength of schedule, which was first of all implemented, Matt, as you and I will know, 15, 20 years ago, the number 1 criteria was strength of schedule. Then the number 2 criteria was common opponent strength of schedule. And then we went by regular season, right? And then if you lose late in the season, it hurts you, similar to what Ohio State went through with losing to a bad Michigan offense. These are the strength of schedules I had Bailey show because to me, SMU does not belong. They beat nobody in the top 25 all year long. They lost to a team that lost to an SEC opponent in South Carolina. They didn't even win their state, but yet they're in the playoff for winning their conference. And then Boise, I believe Boise should have got in. I don't believe Boise should get a bye, if that makes sense. I just believe that because you and I know if this was 10 years ago, Boise would be like the 12th team barely trying to scrape in this tournament because of not being a Power 5 conference. And back in the day, conference play mattered. The Power 4s were king. The other team got in, and we've seen the anomalies. We've seen Boise beat Oklahoma. And we
keep saying back in the day. If you notice that, JB, I'm just letting you know. But continue.
I get it. I get it. Change happens. I'm just telling you.
Back in the day.
Well, we got to say back in the day, Smitty, so Matt understands where I'm coming from, because yesterday, after this selection committee picked their teams, they literally came out and said strength of schedule mattered. And that's why Lane Kiffin went to Twitter and said, really? So why the fuck are these teams in and these teams aren't in? To me, they're saying one thing and doing exact opposite. And that's my whole beef with this thing. Listen, it's never going to be right. No one's going to be happy. And everyone's fanboy fan base is always going to bitch about their team not getting in or snubbed. I get it. All I'm saying is I believe we want the best 12 in. I think they missed it by 3 teams. I don't believe.
Can we find that? Like, I want to see the exact quote that the guy said, like in the committee about strength of schedule. Like, I want to know verbatim what he said.
Yeah, you can show Lane Kiffin's tweet if you can.
I saw Lane Kiffin's tweet, but like, did the guy say like this is the number one factor, or did he say
they interviewed him.
Is a factor? Like, but
Well,
we'll find it. But
the number one factor is winning. So, like, no offense to 3 lost teams, but if you're a 3-loss team, you better win your conference or you're not getting in. So
Clemson, right?
The strength of schedule, I don't agree with that. I don't want a bunch of dudes sitting around in a room picking who is better rather than figuring it out on the field. At least you get to figure it on the field now with 12 teams. You know, Arizona State earned their right to get a bye. Boise State earned their right to get a bye. That's the rules. It's the conference champions get a bye, and if they want to change it, they can change it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's the rule. Georgia earned their bye. They beat Texas twice. So, you know, I have no sympathy for the 13th team in the country. Like Ole Miss and Alabama, like cry me a river, bro.
South Carolina.
You had just as many opportunities to win like Tennessee did. Tennessee has 2 losses. You have 3. That's why Tennessee's in and you're at home. That's the way this works. So, you know, I don't think it's right to just say, I think that this blue blood is better than this other school because their brand's better, even though they have 3 losses. They didn't win enough to get in. I'm sorry, Lane Kiffin, but Alabama and Ole Miss, you had 3 losses. You can complain about it all you want. SMU earned their right to get there. If you don't let SMU in, what's the point of the conference championship game? You can't be negatively affected at the conference championship game in any way. You can only help yourself. Like Clemson helped themselves. SMU doesn't deserve to get knocked out because they lost. They're playing in the game, an extra game that shouldn't knock them out. That in that should be only a positive. The conference championship game is only a positive. Just like TCU 2 years ago lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 title game, they still went to the playoff and beat Michigan. I know Georgia ran them, but they did win a game in the playoffs. So
now, to your point, Matt,
I think the 14 team is going to be awesome when they expand. I don't like the seeding. I don't understand why the number 1 seed is getting the 8-9. All year it was supposed to be 5. Like they
got fucked, man. Oregon got fucked.
I'm not really sure what's happening there.
Oregon got fucked by all means.
Oh, yeah, that's wrong. Isn't 5-12 supposed to be playing 1?
That's what we thought, but that's why they
but my question to you guys, because I feel you, because like you guys see the 12th seed, so you figure, of course, I'm number 1. I should go against.
But but that's the bracket was set up like that all year. They flipped it like every mock bracket that I saw from the beginning of this until yesterday. Yeah, the 5-12 was on the 1.
Oh, I see.
And then when I see them release the bracket, the 5-12's on the 4.
Matt,
so I'm just confused on how they're aligning the bracket.
Here's
like Oregon totally got fucked. Their prize for winning the Big Ten and going undefeated is Ohio State or Tennessee and Penn State. Nothing. Their prize is SMU and Boise. Like Penn State's going to the fucking what would that be? The final 2, 4?
Yeah.
Here's
Penn State's going to beat SMU and Boise.
Yeah, here's the issue I have. Like, to your logic and what you just said makes sense. I'm looking at it though. Like last year, Georgia plays in their conference title game. Texas did not and got left out for a Texas team because they beat Alabama game 1.
Texas won the Big 12 last year. What are you talking about?
No. I'm talking about SEC. I'm talking about Georgia played Bama and lost and got left out.
Yeah, but Texas wasn't in the SEC last year.
No, I know. They got left out for a Texas team, though, that we now looked at last year as like, okay, this Texas team beat Alabama week 1 we all argue, Smitty and I have argued because they played head-to-head and they beat them. And I'm looking at it like, I think Georgia deserved to get in. That was my argument. I was like, I think Georgia. You're like, well, they beat Bama head up, blah, blah, blah. That was the argument. This year, we have an argument that Clemson beat SMU head up. And I think, to me, SMU should be out. SMU beat no one in the top 25 schedule all year long, beat no one. Their strength of schedule is at the absolute bottom of the country's, 75th, I believe. That has to matter somewhat, Matt.
Matt made a hell of a point. He got me thinking. It's like, how do you get punished?
Yeah, why would you punish a team going to a championship game?
It's not punishing at home.
It is. If they're playing an extra game and they're undefeated in conference and they go play an extra game in the title game and lose, and then all of a sudden they're out. Why? Like if they don't play, they're in.
Right.
But that's how.
Why would you even go play?
But we've been doing this, though, Matt. This isn't the first year just because we added 8 teams.
True.
We've been doing it this way. Like that's not
Alabama, Georgia last year. The winner of that game got in. Texas
and
was in the Big 12.
Arguably, Georgia should have got in, right? Everyone.
Well, maybe Georgia should have got in. Well, the winner of the SEC replaced Florida State. Georgia shouldn't have gotten in over Texas. Texas won the Big 12.
Yeah, and beat
Bama.
That was the whole argument.
Well, that's exactly why they got in with one loss. Like it's head-to-head means something. The regular season means something. It can't just be a bunch of guys sitting around picking teams. Like, why are we playing? Why don't we just pick the national champion and not play the games? It makes no sense.
No, I get it. That's why Miami had no way in for me. But even though
they fucked it up. They lost to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Like,
they didn't
like
play
the Colorado fans that were complaining. It was rampant on Saturday. Like, oh, CU should be in this game. It's so boring. Then beat Kansas State and Kansas, and then you're in the game. Yeah. Or beat one of them and you're in the game. Like, I know the tiebreaker situation people don't like that, but Arizona State in the two weeks left in the season had BYU at home and took care of business the same weekend that CU lost to Kansas. So again,
let me ask you this,
Matt. We've got to understand that this is about wins and losses. This is not about committees, rankings, seeds, nothing. If you want to go, win. That's the bottom fucking line.
Here's my thing though. Like if we, to your point, if you're gonna win, and here's my point, then I believe a team like an SMU that when we break it down, which we've always done since the pre-BCS, strength of schedule and common opponent strength of schedule was a huge determinant on getting guys in. That was when it was 4 or just 1 and 2. If you lose your last game of the season, albeit a conference title as in SMU did, but your strength of schedule and common opponent strength of schedule is dog shit as SMU's is, then doesn't it go to the conference versus conference? And this is my whole point. The SEC this year is 8-3 versus the ACC. And I have to ask you, SMU and Clemson being in here to me is a little bit
earned,
non-organic to me.
Clemson earned it.
Well, not SMU though. See that's
SMU did earn it. SMU would have been in if they don't play in the conference title game. They're in as an at-large because they're 11-1. You can't penalize them for playing in the conference title game.
That was almost like shit. If I'm SMU, then based on your argument, JB, I'm like shit.
I'm not going to play. I'm not playing the conference
I'm boycotting the game. Yeah,
we'll just go as an at-large. And look. I'm sorry, but the SEC and the Big Ten are not. They're just logos, dog. Like this whole conference dominance shit is super fucking. It's super overplayed. Texas, a Big 12 team, just played for the SEC title their first year in. Arizona State, a Pac-12 team, just won the Big 12 their first year in. Oregon, a Pac-12 team, just went in and dominated the Big 10 their first year in. So I mean,
Wazoo's beat an SEC
AAC team, and SMU just went and played for the conference championship in the ACC. So maybe the logo on your chest doesn't mean dick. It doesn't mean shit. Like,
no, it's the conference. It's the conference.
That's what I'm saying. The conference logo on everyone's chest means nothing.
Not anymore. Not in this era.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give any credence to, well, they're a Big Ten team, so their strength of schedule. Win games. Yeah. If you want to get into the playoff, you can't have 3 losses. It's not going to work.
And then what is strength? Like I know what it is, but like strength of schedule is some shit they guess before the season. Like it just sounds like
I'm just telling you right now, though.
Guess what they think it's going to be.
I'm just telling you, Smitty. I'm telling you, Matt. There'll be a 4-loss team in a conference championship game next year.
If they win their conference, they deserve the right to go.
I just don't see how a 4-loss team, which will be soon, we'll see it.
But if they win their conference, bro, that's what it is.
I get it. I'm just saying. I think we have to some sort of way structure this.
Well,
where we just
why? If you win your conference, what's the point in playing all these games to win your conference?
It's like NFL, JB.
If winning your conference doesn't get you in, what's the point?
But you can't tell me that and then tell me how Oregon, who just ran the fucking table, got absolutely fucked. They won the whole goddamn thing.
They got fucked on the seeding. I don't understand how they're seeding, but that doesn't.
Yeah, but that's why I say
that doesn't have anything to do with winning your conference to get into the
but that's what I say. To me, it's the I guess it's the pre-biasy that we're so used to with the SEC logo on your chest. To your point, we need to take that away because if you just rank them 1 through 12, at least Oregon don't get fucked by dominating the season. By the way, Matt, Oregon's the only team in this tournament who beat Penn State, who's in the tournament, Ohio State, who's in the tournament, and Boise State, who's in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, and they get a fucking Tennessee or Ohio State for a second time.
And somebody's got to explain it a little bit smarter than me because I don't understand how.
I mean, my only counter again is that okay, you guys are saying they should play the winner of the 5 and 12 seed. Okay, if the 12 seed were to win, then yeah, it would feel like okay, that's good for Oregon. But let's say Texas wins, right? Just for argument purposes. You guys are suggesting that Oregon would rather play the 5th seed Texas than the 8th and 9th seed team?
Look,
like
that's just the way the bracket was set up all year.
Where's that's how the NCAA March Madness works.
Well,
come on, what?
You literally play like the bottom.
That's the way. Yeah, that's the way it fucking works, bro. Then again, then they all year long, 5 and 12 was on the 1. All right. Well, again, 6-11 was up. 6-11 was on the 2.
Maybe those were fans or some bracket or something.
Yeah,
or maybe I don't know.
This was the fucking college football playoff that they released a week ago. You can go back and find any of the other brackets there. It's set up differently. The 5-12's on the 1. The 6-11's on the 2. The 7-10's on the 3. The 8-9's on the 4. That's the way it was set up.
I mean, like, because like
maybe here's why I think happened.
Just last minute just decided, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna change the bracket. Like,
I think what happened.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. How did
we're missing something? Like we got to be missing something.
Yeah. That's why I think what happened is a Matt's point, and to your point, I think what happened is they can't forward think the winner of the conference and then the loser of the conference being an SMU in this case. So the seedings changed, and I don't believe anyone caught it. I'm telling you, because this wasn't the original. A year ago when they came out with the bracket and everyone's like, oh, fuck, there's going to be 4 byes and Notre Dame will win it, will go undefeated and have to play. Remember, we said it.
Yeah.
Obviously, something's changed because this isn't 1 playing 5 anymore. 1 should be down where Arizona State is.
Well, look, it is what it is. And
hey,
I'll say this.
Win. Fuck it.
I'll say this. I am super excited for the playoff games. I thought the conference title games were awesome. The kid hitting the 56-yard fucking field goal was fucking incredible. Like, it was just the overtime game in the SEC was awesome. Yep. Penn State gave Oregon a run for their money. Boise State, that like Gentry is an absolute stud of a fucking human and football player. That kid is awesome. My boy Shea Depot, who went to Eagle Crest High School, the defensive player of the game in the Mountain West title game. Proud Dungeon family, bro. Fucking hawking that dude down and like playing as hard as he did, having 2 sacks and balling out. It was a great weekend of college football. I thought the NFL yesterday was awesome. That Bills-Rams game was killer. So, man, it was a good week of football.
Football looks great right now all across the board.
It is fucking killing right now.
It's amazing right now. Like, exciting, good football.
Let me ask you, let me dive into something else with you guys, man, to start a debate because I got to be honest. I'm sick and tired of it, but I got to ask you both, and I think both of you are against me on this. The opt-out. They're already calling the Michigan-Alabama the opt-out bowl. I got to ask you, all these people that are coming out with these tweets, to me, is the part that's disgusting. Leave it up to the kid, the coach and the father or the mother of the kid. And then ultimately we'll debate what I'm about to say, but I don't know if you have that graphic, Smitty or Bailey. They're calling this the opt-out bowl. There's another thing that right here, fans demanding opt-outs because their fucking fanboy-ass team didn't get in the goddamn tournament. And this is why I'm so against this whole BS of social media being influential when it comes to kids making decisions on where they should go, where they should transfer from, to, et cetera, et cetera. This whole fan base is now saying, oh, opt out. Then we got media members in the media mainstream saying to players, hey, through their street agent, don't go to this bowl. Get ready for the draft. We've seen how many of those have failed and not even gotten drafted in the last 6 years. What is your take on these kids opting out of these so-called, quote-unquote, meaningless bowl games is what the term is they use. I got to get your take on these, and then I'll give you mine.
I know I'm old, but I took a lot of pride in playing my last football game in a bowl game and winning it. And
you're like me.
You know, and wearing the fucking black and gold for one more round. You're there to play football. I don't understand how it's now all of a sudden the 13th or 14th game is too risky. I've never understood it. I don't understand it now.
I agree.
I love the fact that Shador and Travis and Hunter and Jimmy Horn and all the CU boys are all playing. I love it. So BYU, you better strap up and come ready to play, or we will shit stomp the fuck out of you in the Alamo Bowl. Like, I love that Coach Prime openly talks to his guys about the fact that he expects everybody to play. And I think it's awesome. I
hope he does, man. I hope it works. I'm going to give Deion credit.
It's working. So because they're all going to play. His standard is that you're here to play football, play fucking football. And I personally believe that this stand that they're taking and watching them play is going to transition the mindset of people to start playing again. I don't think that there's going to be as many guys opting out in the future. I know it's just a bowl game, but damn it, you earn the right to get there all year. You bust your ass to get 6 wins or 7 or 8 or 9, and just because you miss out on the playoff or whatnot, I don't think that just quitting on everybody and going to just train more is the right way to do it. Now, look, as a guy who works with a bunch of guys for the combine, and we've got a bunch of guys this year, and we've got like 15 guys that are draft eligible, I guess it's a case-by-case basis. If you don't want to play in your bowl game, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a bitch. That's your decision. But if you ask my opinion, you should play. You're a football player. Go play football. If something bad happens, then something bad happens, bro. It's not like fucking deal with it. Again, you're a football player. Go play football. Like it's. I think that the bowl games are a special time to kind of, have closure, and especially if you're an old cat. Like, I know that you can play for like 9 years now and shit, but back in the day when I played, it was special, and no one sat out, and you wanted to finish and win and put a bow on your career, especially if you were an old head like me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, wait, like, yeah, I would have played for sure. I've got a chance to play in 2 bowl games in my career. Again, not no big time bowl games, but for me, it's a bowl game. It's a
extra game with your boys. Yeah.
Beef O'Brady's Bowl and the GoDaddy Bowl was big for us going to Ball State, and I was excited the whole week of just experiencing a new city and just the
national TV and shit, like
the festivities, the per diem, just all the little things. I just was like excited about. So I'm definitely
a portable DVD player that weighed 19 pounds.
Right, exactly, man. So
here's my thing. Only thing I disagree with is I don't give them an option, and I probably do call them a bitch when they don't play. Here's the thing I gotta say: I don't give them an option. I would not give them an option.
Bitch, though.
They're not a bitch. They're just they're making a business decision.
Exactly. So like again,
I homie. That's where I got to be.
Completely understand.
Nah, Smitty, fuck all that, homie.
I do understand.
Fuck all that. Fuck all that. It ain't a business decision.
It's the truth. You're speaking from a
fucking business decision. You play your games, homie.
There's a lot of
money. Play your games, homie. I paid you.
JB.
Hold on, no. Did I pay you or not?
It's a lot of money to be made.
Hold on, no. Did I pay you or not, homie? did I pay you on an NIL deal or not?
Yeah,
then it's a fucking business
Probably.
decision that you play my games because I just fucking paid you NIL money to come to my school. Then you owe me just like a professional shows up to work every fucking day until his clock is over. You pay every game I paid you for. Fucking period, point blank. Stop with the fucking excuses as to these dudes deserve to sit out because they're going to get hurt. No, I deserve not to pay you then. Period, point blank. We have to stop with the excuses for kids who think they're grown men and are professionals on this side, but then say they're amateurs on this side. Stop. They're professionals, homie. You said it. Matt said it. Everyone said it. Then fucking finish the job. Play till your game's done. Period. Or I pull my NIL money. And the second thing is, don't pay them until the bowl game season is done. You play every game.
If that's the hey JB, hold on, I'm with you 100%.
I'm so tired of these pussies, homie.
If that's the agreement with NIL, then sure, I'm with you.
Fuck the agreement. It should be the agreement.
As a player, when I went to Alabama and the NIL, they said, "Hey, we're gonna pay you this, but you got to play you got to play the bowl game."
Why is it not the agreement from jump?
That's the agreement.
Matt, that should be the agreement, shouldn't it?
That's not the agreement.
Yeah, I want people to play. Yeah, I mean, I understand that people are going to make business decisions, but I look at that both ways. Like a business decision, a productive one, is going to get more tape and show people that you like football. But then again, some people are going to look at it and say, I don't want to risk being hurt, and I'm going to go train early, and they're going to make that business decision. So,
and they're going to become all pros, and also like.
I personally think everybody should play, but that's just my feeling on it.
I'm the same way. JB, you so quick to call everybody soft and put. How am I soft? I played all fucking year long. Like how am I soft when I'm about to go to the league and play and continue to play?
You didn't play all year long. You didn't play all year long, homie. Like you keep giving awards for playing a certain amount. You didn't play all year long. You're okay with them not playing their bowl game when you left about 70 players who will never play in the NFL, by the way, whose whole dream was to play at Ball State. You said, fuck you. I'm not going to help you win a bowl game. To Matt's point, that's pretty fucking special to wear that jersey one more goddamn time and win a bowl game. You just shitted on 75 other dudes, and yet it's okay now. So you're telling me you're not going to teach a kid to finish the job, go to the NFL, and you wonder why cats are demanding trades under contract now? Because that's what's called the transfer portal. They're doing it at the NFL level now because we have allowed it in the college level not to play in bowl games. Like, teach you to finish what you started, homie. We're setting a horrible precedent for the young kids, period. I don't give a fuck what anyone else wants to say. That's my opinion. I agree with both of your opinions and respect them. The bottom line is, though, you are teaching soft to a bunch of kids to not finish the job they started, which they chose to do, Smitty. You and I didn't put a gun to their motherfucking head. They chose to go to Colorado and play the games, not a couple games, the fucking season.
To be fair, the sitting out thing in the ball game happened way, way before NIL. Like
way before.
Christian McCaffrey was the first guy I think that did it, and that was.
And Christian McCaffrey ain't pussy.
What?
He ain't
2012 or some shit.
The portal started.
What?
Huh?
What?
The sit-out started with the portal, not NIL. I agree. The portal.
The sit-out started way before the portal.
Yeah, we had a couple guys, but it wasn't like this.
Couple guys, bro. There were people.
I've been saying it for a year. Either Jalen Smith put his knee up. That's when it started happening.
When did Christian McCaffrey set the precedent? Because since he did that, there's 30 guys a year easy sitting out.
I'd have to look.
Easy.
I'd have to look at the time frame.
I don't remember what year that was, but it was way before the portal and way before NIL. I'm saying that the portal and the NIL probably exacerbate the problem and make it even more prevalent, but it was happening way before they started paying kids.
Like that. You guys are more experienced than me. You guys are older than me. But for me, in my memory, I just remember that first quarter bad injury, nerve injury that Jalen Smith, linebacker from Notre Dame, had.
Notre Dame,
and he messed up his draft. He's supposed to be a top.
Well, like Jake Butt, the tight end of Michigan, he tore his knee up and didn't really play in the league.
And their careers got changed. So I think players saw that and was like, "Damn, I can literally lose money or not get drafted or whatever case may be if I get hurt in a bowl game that the media and that the fans
it's agents too.
Agents are talking to them in their ear.
Agents pushing the fear narrative, if you play, you could get hurt. I don't think you should play. Instead of, you could get hurt, but you can get hurt in every game you play. You're a football player. Go play football. So
and again, I would play. I'm 100% saying
I don't think you're a bitch for making a business decision.
We got to be honest, though.
Let's side. I think it's just personal.
Let's be real. We're talking about an anomaly of guys, okay? I think Christian McCaffrey did it, and then I think Leonard Fournette did it.
And none of these guys you're naming are soft or pussy or bitch.
Here's what I'm saying,
that's why I push back with you, JB. I'm cool with your opinion, but you be so quick to just call everybody bitch because they disagree with you. But
no, I'm not disagreeing. No, you can disagree all you want. It's a debate show. I don't give a fuck. I hope you disagree. My point is, one guy in Christian McCaffrey is not fucking 30 guys that aren't going to be 8th round or 8th pick overall, homie. These guys don't even get drafted. We see an anomaly in Leonard Fournette, who played at LSU, who was fucking in the SEC going against those guys every game. And he chose to get out because Matt and I know running backs are short-lived in the NFL, so I'm going to take less carries. Okay.
So you're giving him a pass to do it.
What are the top 2 guys to ever do it? Running backs, because they knew they were short-lived in the NFL to play running backs.
So you're cool with running backs sitting out there?
No, I'm not. That's not what I said, homie. You don't listen. You just want to talk back. No, I'm telling you, we see 1 or 2 guys do it, and you think that that's the fucking precedent. That's not the precedent, homie. Half of these guys don't even make it to the NFL, and you're okay with that. That's soft to me. Not you. I'm saying that's soft.
I know.
You have a whole wagon of kids.
I got it. Yeah.
It's like that's soft, and we're creating soft. And 1 or 2 guys, okay, cool. You're projected first rounders. How many projected first rounders are going to sit out of these bowls?
We'll see.
Probably a lot.
There's not enough. Is my point though. There's not enough. There's not going to be the first guy, Caleb Williams. You're not going to –
But JB, those guys every so often. You and I know this too, though. A lot of these players don't know when they're going to get drafted. So a lot of times these agents will be like, hey, man, you're projected to go between 1 and 3 or between 2 and 4 or between like it's like a range. So they're like, fuck, I might fuck around and go into the first round. Let me. So we're blaming the players. The players don't fucking know what number they gonna go. So that's why
I agree. I'm not saying that. It's to you and Matt's point total. I know Matt has to get out. I love both takes. All I'm saying is Matt's point is, okay, sit out. You're gonna be a top 10 pick. Blah blah blah. Cool. I don't know where I'm gonna get drafted. Cool. But then to your point is, all right, let's do anybody can sit out regardless. My point is, if you get paid, you play. So to me, we have 3 ideologies going on right now that I believe since we paid these guys, they need to be professionals and play. That's just period. I don't think there's any other thing about it. If you don't want to play, then there's got to be literature, to Matt's point, to a union 2 years ago on this discussion. Yep. In that literature, in that contract, then there needs to be, I have to play 75% of my contests, including a bowl game, postseason game, or whatever. Or if you're okay as a university or collective not playing in that game, then it should be in there and it should be it should be known.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that 100%.
To me, it's a slap in the face. And I also have a bone to pick, to Matt's point, with the coaches. Ohio University's coach goes into a bowl game, wins the game, and after the game, he says, hey, appreciate you guys, I love you, but I just took the fucking job at fucking App State or wherever. I forgot where Ohio did after their bowl. The same with fucking Mendenhall. Mendenhall's a Utah Mormon. I get it, but you fucking went to New Mexico for 1 year, and you know what? Fucking, that's unbelievable to me. And then you just bounce and go to Utah State. New Mexico, Utah State's not a fucking Bama. It's not a huge, it's the same shit. So I'm just trying to figure out, to do that to kids, you should pay your fucking contract back too. I'm keeping it real with both. Now, I just think we've created a precedent, though, that now it's a wild, wild west. And if it's going to be the wild, wild west, then that's why I think you need to rank the 12 best teams in the country when you pick your college football playoff as well. Because it's open. It's already the wild, wild west, dog. Let's just have the fucking wild, wild west. Because you've said it on one side, but you're not showing me on the other side. Committee members, selection committee, all this shit. Coaches talk about portal, bitching about the portal, but then you just did a transfer portal, motherfucker. Mendenhall, you just left after 1 year. So to me, it's a wild, wild west.
Coaches been wild. It's been wild, wild west for the coaches. It's just
the players, to me, they deserve it too. They're 45.
This last year. Y'all been doing that shit forever.
I deserve it. Yeah, they deserved it though.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. They deserve it. You just got on a guy for leaving. Which one is it?
No. He's talking about before. I'm talking about before the portal, when guys used to do it. Before they get. Our argument has always been a guy that's been coaching and professionally taking care of their family and putting kids in college for 30, 40 years at a 45-year-old age is a complete different issue than a 17-year-old. Huh?
Who determines the desert? Well, listen, I ain't gonna get to that. We do
life does, homie. Life, age, experience. You don't think experience matters?
I say opportunity. Opportunity determines that.
Guess who knows? Guess who knows? Experience knows the opportunity that lies ahead. Let that sit in. Experience doesn't know. Lack of experience has no clue what opportunity is. A 17-year-old doesn't know.
Since you're older, you can do it. Since you're older, you can just
you can do whatever. I'm saying you can least have an experience on what's coming next. A 17-year-old has no clue how to get over the fucking bridge that lies ahead until he's taught to get over the bridge. You're allowing guys to just go, hey, go ahead, go do what you want, fly over there. And they have no clue. And that's why they're failing at an all-time high, in my opinion. My opinion, just telling you. Matt, I know I love you coming on. Appreciate you. Break down the Alamo Bowl real quick before you leave. We'll hopefully have you on Friday before they play. I got to ask you one question. This is why the committee failed again. Why isn't Cam Ward playing Shedeur Sanders, and why wasn't that done and made to come to fruition? I have no idea why. It should have been a game. This makes zero sense. It was already, you fucked it up by 2 times, Matt. First of all, you didn't play in the conference. You're in the same conference. You should have played already. Number one, that would have been a huge determinant in this whole thing. Maybe Colorado plays Arizona State and not Iowa State. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Now you're playing? Now you're fucking playing in a bowl game nobody wants to watch? We'd rather watch Miami and Cam Ward play Shedeur Sanders in Colorado, which would be a fucking hell of a game.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, people are going to watch because CU is going to play. They're guys, I'm sure BYU will too if CU is. All that said, Iowa State gets to play Miami.
Yeah,
you could have easily taken, the thing is, though, CU still has Pac-12 contracts for the bowl games. So that's why they're playing an in-conference team now in the Alamo Bowl, because they're still, in the eyes of the bowl committee, their contracts are still the Pac-12 slots.
I didn't know that.
So that's why they're playing the game they're playing against BYU. Now, I think that's ridiculous. We can't just change it.
Yeah, that's
just amend it and change it. I think that it would have been must-see TV if CU would have played Miami. I was fucking tweeting about it. I would have loved to see it. It would have forced the Miami guys to play and not sit out, because then if Shedeur's over there dealing and you're supposed to be his competition for the number 1 pick, you better go deal. So, I would have killed to see Colorado Miami. That would have been a fucking unbelievable game. It would have been the best game outside of the playoff. So other than that, though, I'm pumped that they're in a bowl game. The Alamo Bowl, I played in it when I was in college. It's a great bowl game. And throughout the years, there's been some crazy ass Alamo Bowls. So, I'm hoping that it turns out to be a good one, and that they go shit stomp BYU and win 10 games. And, again, I'm going to reiterate this, but the last time CU won a bowl game, I was holding the trophy. That was 20 years ago, 2004 to 2024. So it is time to change that narrative and make sure that they're bringing the trophy home at 10-3. And that's 10 wins after the take yourself back 4 months and how, and the national narrative and all the pundits' opinions and everybody who knew that Colorado was a joke and a fad and blah, 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 blah. Well, now they're about to be 10-3 in a bowl game victory and a Heisman. What a year. So I'm pumped about the game, and I think Colorado's a much better team than BYU. And this is an opportunity to kind of, maybe go try and prove to people that they should have maybe been in the Big 12 title game. But again, take care of business and you go. So it's, I think it's awesome that they're playing. I can't wait for the game. And honestly, I'm trying to figure out right now if I'm going to go to it or not. So
Good shit. Good shit. Hey, well, good luck. It's not till the 28th, I think, so we'll have plenty of time.
28th, 29th, something like that.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But shout out. You'll be on the show later on, you and Bailey, or today?
Yeah, we're on 0 to 60 at 1 o'clock Mountain here. Bailey and I, Shaun King's going to join us today in the middle of the show to talk about a ton of other, quarterback shit. And then we'll be on all week, and I'll be back here Friday. And we'll just keep the party going. How about that Buffalo Rams game yesterday, dog? Holy shit.
Man.
What a fucking football game that was.
Great place, ain't it?
Hey, the best quarterback in football, Matthew Stafford, versus the best player
awesome.
in football.
God, he was awesome, bro.
In football, Josh Allen.
He was incredible. And Josh Allen.
I had 3-3, y'all.
Josh Allen is a fucking animal, homie.
It's
football player.
Good God, yesterday kicked
He ain't
ass.
soft. I know that. He's definitely not soft.
No,
that motherfucker is he's whoa. God damn.
Yeah. Hey.
All right, boys. Have a good day.
You too, brother. I'll talk to you.
Peace.
Hey, oh my bad.
Are you good? Loaded, man. It's been a loaded show, man. Listen.
Loaded lineup, man. Loaded show. Appreciate all the passion that we bring in you guys, because Smitty's in his basement, in the hood. He got to be quiet because cats walking around, ARs and stuff. And then he got, neighbor. So he got to be quiet for the first hour or so. And then, me getting passionate and yelling, I'm ready to go because this is all crazy to me, this whole 12-team playoff thing. And I'm going to send Bailey we're going to do a 12-team NIT tournament bracket as well at some point, because I'm just going to tell you, if we want all these what could have been, should be's, then you're going to have to add an NIT bracket pretty soon, what college basketball does. Because guaranteed, we'd love to see Colorado play for Miami. You'd want to see Bama play somebody, Tulane, Army, UNLV, South Carolina. There are these teams that are on the fringe that should be in. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's take a commercial break. We'll come back right after this. It's been rolling. And we got a special guest, Shaun King and Eric Weddle, still to join the show. And we're going to dive into a bunch of things, including Juan Soto's record-breaking Major League Baseball contract. We're going to dive into that as well. We'll see you on the realest show on planet Earth right after this.
Your friends, Steve, Mina Kimes and Kay Adams are being eyed for Netflix's Christmas doubleheader. I think you guys you guys might have talked about this on your show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, look, my view is this. Kay Adams is the host. Adams is okay. I like her. She all right. Mina, if she's the one that's going to be the analyst.
I like how Steve did. Okay, Adams.
I mean, okay. Not okay. Not all right. I mean, what's next for Mina? Is she going to be the head coach of the NFL, or are they going to make her the JJ Redick?
I believe you and Woodard had a take on this. I think we got is there a video? Or I think we got a video.
The NFL has an Xmas package. I think 2 shows on Netflix. And the Crouching Tigers have a role, it appears, in this NFL show or studio show. Mina Kimes is being eyed, and Kay Adams are being eyed for the NFL Xmas shows on.
Hey, Steve, what does this mean? Because I saw the tape. What does this mean, that Xmas show?
No, Netflix got the rights to Christmas Day football. So they're going to be showing a couple of games. which means certain teams are going to be playing like 3 games in 15 days because you know why? We're about player safety. But anyway, so that's why. And so that's why they need some studio hosts. Now, look, Kay Adams as the point guard is fine. I like her. Yes. Mina Kimes as the quote-unquote football analyst. Okay, you're going to tell me how many times the percentage of a first down run against, 4-3 under with 21 per. Okay, well, I could read a doggone graph. Just saying.
Whitlock, do not have me on about this.
No, you need to be on.
You don't want me on about this one. I swear to God. You know what I might do?
Oh, man.
I might have a live show.
An alternate stream, the Coach JB cast.
Why she's doing it. I mean, I might have to do it. Smitty. You and I, Smitty, both of us. And you're going to have to give real takes on how bad she is.
Live stream on Christmas.
Yeah, on Christmas.
What up, man? This is a proud new sponsor of the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty, and it is First Round Performance.
Yeah.
Make sure you head on over to firstroundperformance.com. We got the merch, the gear. They are top-notch company.
High quality, JB. All about the quality here. Workout gear, exclusive gear. What's that right there, JB?
By the way, nobody else in the country or the world has this short right here. You can put this short on. It helps your back. It helps your hamstrings, helps your quads as you work out.
What?
You can wear these right underneath your workout shorts or what have you. It's kind of like a girdle, but very, very comfortable. Shorts Against Syndrome. It's SAFS. Go head on over there and check it out. First Round Performance.
JB, they got workout bands. They got ankle weights.
What's this?
What's in that box?
All kind of good.
It's our first time seeing this.
What's this?
I'm nervous. What's that?
It's a 40-yard dash electric timer. You can go get your workout on with the light and the strobe, the whole deal. Firstroundperformance.com.
Oh, you just turned it on, JB.
Bam.
You want that smoke?
Go check it out.
I know you ain't trying to race me, JB.
I might race Smitty and smoke him.
You ain't trying to race me. You scared of that life.
Yeah, this is the real deal. You guys got to go check it out. Firstroundperformance.com. Head on over there. Proud new sponsor of the Coach JB Show.
Nice, JB.
With Big Smitty. And
this is mine, right?
hell yeah. Listen, their premium gear, including the revolutionary SAFS shorts I just showed you, are expertly designed by a leading orthopedic surgeon to align your hips and relieve your pain. It is trusted by athletes and active individuals alike, whether you are pushing your limits with their high-quality resistance bands, as Smitty just showed you, or boosting recovery with the powerful dual-spectrum red light therapy devices that I just showed you. First Round Performance delivers the tools needed to stay at the top of your game. Whether aiming for peak performance or simply wanting to live pain-free, they've got you covered. Visit firstroundperformance.com or shop on Amazon today. They just launched their AmazonStore.com, their Amazon store. This is out there, First Round Performance on Amazon. And so go help them out and grab some performance gear today. And please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.
Yes, sir.
Go First Round.
Go First Round, baby.
The promo code will be Coach JB. So check that out and head on over there today.
Get right, baby. First Round, the highest quality.
First Round Performance. Go get you some merch.
Ooh, I like this shirt. I like this shirt, JB.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Head on over to our Coach JB other channel, as we'll be having some content on there. I don't know what is the number is up to, Bailey, as far as subscribers, but subscribe to our the Real Coach JB Show channel. Head on over there because we'll be having some updated content on there. This Thursday, Paul Grosmanis, if you guys know who that is, played for the Eagles and the Bears. Go check it out. He'll be on as a special guest this Thursday. So go check him out. 10-year NFL vet, Notre Dame legend. So he'll be joining us because he'll be discussing the Notre Dame-Indiana game. But he was a captain at Notre Dame, played 10 years for the Bears and the Eagles. Really great friends of Andy Reid, who helps him to this day in life. And we had a great conversation on the phone last night. He's now living out in Tennessee. He'll be on Thursday to give us some great Notre Dame bowl game talk, plus NFL and the Eagles, especially after A.J. Brown bashed their offense last night and talked about Jalen Hurts, a little bit of settled shot. But what do I know? I've been saying they've been at it for now a couple of years. But let's dive into our list, Smitty.
Let's do it, man. You ready? It was the top of the world, bottom of the barrel. Coach JB's top 5 college football performances, championship weekend. Break it down, JB.
Smitty, I got to go with Georgia because Texas has 2 losses on the year. We argue that Texas and Ohio State may have the 2 best rosters in football, but this team, Georgia and Kirby Smart, just continues to nick Sabin, the younger Steve Sarkisian, in my opinion. When I say that is I say experience matters in life and experience matters in big-time football game. Kirby Smart has just out-coached my good friend Steve Sarkisian in those 2 particular games, and Quinn Ewers has really underperformed in both of those games. I'm wondering today if Sark is contemplating on starting Arch Manning or at least playing him in a series-by-series scenario, which Sark has done in the past. I'm curious to see how this unfolds, but Quinn Ewers in both losses on their year, both to Georgia, has been mid to say the least. And he just looks rattled against Georgia, and I just don't understand it. But guess what? Georgia came to show and played. They came and showed up, and they deserve to win that SEC conference again. 4 out of 5 years or whatever. They have dominated the SEC. It is what it is, and they've got national titles to prove. To show for it, and that's where Sark is aspiring to get to. You got to beat the big dog to be the big dog. Arizona State, Smitty, not only did they win, they dominated, and they could have easily been number 1. Scatterboo is absolutely deserving of a Heisman seat at the committee in New York. I believe he deserves to be there. He won't win it, obviously. He'll be there, in my opinion, but he was dominant as well. That's how a white boy runs the rock. It wasn't the win, Smitty. It was the dominant fashion of the win. That is showing me they deserve to be in the playoff on a high note, momentum. They're dominating going into the playoff other than just trying to get in there like a Texas, losing, Ohio State losing their last few games, Penn State losing, SMU losing, Arizona State, Boise State, fair to them, dominated and went in and won convincingly, showing me they're deserving of a slot. And now you can argue, do they get a bye or not? That's a whole nother debate, but they're deserving of a slot. Arizona State played as well as anybody by dominating an Iowa State team who everybody thought was really, really good, but I knew they had the worst rush defense in college football. Arizona State was going to dominate them, and they did. Oregon, listen, score was closer than it appeared, in my opinion. I thought Oregon was the most dominant team on the football field. Eyeball test worked. Penn State was valiant and playing tough and all that, came back. But to be honest, if the eyeball works, Oregon was clear and cut by far better athletically, they're quicker, faster, to the point of attack. Their defense was better. I just thought Oregon struggled in the red zone by giving up a few very, very critical plays. So that game's not even close. But anyway, Penn State played well, but Oregon clearly was the most dominant team. And then Boise State dominated UNLV. I wonder if the players knew Barry Odom was leaving before that game, because that's how UNLV showed up. UNLV did not show up to Boise. They were seemingly cold and seemingly had every excuse in the book. And Boise put their foot on their neck, 21-0. Genty runs for another 200 yards. To me, it's just more impressive. In a conference title game, you still run for 200 when everybody in the box is trying to stop you. on a very good defensive run stopping defense in UNLV, and you run for 200 yards, to me, that's just solidified the Heisman, but that's a whole nother debate. Clemson, listen, I'm not high on this Clemson team. Their D-line is as good as anybody's. Other than that, the QB's iffy, hit and miss. Their skill is iffy, hit and miss. Their secondary is iffy, hit and miss. That's what will get them beat, to me, in the playoff. But they took care of business. After a South Carolina beat them to win the state, they go out and win the ACC title after getting drubbed by the number one team on my list in Georgia. So that is my top 5 performances of the weekend, Smitty, and the championship weekend. And let's dive into yours.
I like your list. Let's bring mine up right now. Smitty's top 5 performances of the championship weekend. I got Georgia at the top as well, just because, I mean, the competition, the strength of schedule, the strength of the game in the moment, first SEC championship game to go into overtime in Georgia, man. Georgia, just like I predicted, went out there and they beat Texas again. That's a big time win and a momentum type win that I think will do them well as they go into these playoffs. Number 2, Arizona State, man. Hey, it's a bad boy at running back, man. I love that. I love that kid. It was Scatterbo. He's a true football player. He's been balling his entire college career. Rushed for 170 and 2 tuds. And I like him, kind of standing up for himself at the end of the game, saying, hey, like, I'm the best running back in college. Now, I disagree, but I like him standing on business saying that, though. You know what I'm saying? As a competitor, I love that. So, and they went out there and they mud stumped them. So, I mean, big time win by Arizona State. Number 3, similarly to Arizona State, Boise State, where they actually do have the best running back in the land, and Genty rushed for over 200 yards. And like you said, Boise State went out there and mud stumped a really good UNLV team. And like you said, I don't know if they knew about the head coach situation prior to the game or what, but regardless, that's not Boise State's problem. Control what you can control. And they went out there and they dominated from beginning to end. So shout out to them for going out there and doing that. Number 4, Clemson. The score to me ended up in the second half, SMU, they made it kind of tight. But if you watch that first half, really first like damn near 3 quarters almost, Clemson was just dominating out the gate, just defense balling, making plays. And I mean, that's a big time win to, although you had 3 losses this year, Dabo Swinney finds a way to always keep Clemson just relevant and keeps them in the mix, keep them in the just give them opportunity to possibly compete for a natty. We talked all that stuff, early in the year. I know it was joked about them not having no brothers on the team and this, that, and the third. Well, listen, they right here in the playoffs, double-digit win season. Again, recruiting his way, you know what I'm saying, not being heavily in a portal like that. Shout out to Clemson. And then number 5, I went ahead and put Oregon in there because, again, you're still playing against a Penn State team who I respect. I respect the hell out of the Big Ten. And although Penn State made it tight and made it close, Oregon found the way to win. That's what the great teams do. They find a way. And that's Big Smitty's top 5 college football performances of championship weekend.
Yeah, good list. I'd had Oregon higher just because they beat what we call another playoff team. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. They're the only team in this whole thing that's beaten 3 teams in the playoffs. So let's talk about my bottom 5, bottom of the barrel. UNLV had everything to play for and didn't show up. And I'm wondering if that's a Barry Odom issue or a team issue, because they clearly didn't show up. This game was actually dominated. They scored late in the game to score their only points. They really didn't have a shot in the game. It was 21-0 in a snap of a finger. Genty was doing what he wanted. He busted that 70-yard run, and it was basically over. Penn State just can't win a big game, man. They haven't beat anybody all year. They can't win a big game when it matters. That's why I'm not high. I love James Franklin as a guy that's a play caller at Maryland. I've known him for a long time. Been to several titty bars with the man. Listen, you got to win the big one, though. And that's just where it is to me. Again, you failed on the brightest stage, the biggest stage, the brightest lights. You have failed once again. You're 0 and whatever versus top 5 teams. You got to get over the hump. And to me, that's why they're not a playoff team, in my opinion. Texas, You can't lose to the same team twice. And especially not going into the playoff where you lost last year to a Washington team to go to a natty. This is telling you again, Sark and Lane and all these guys. I love you guys to death. You got to win the big one. I think that they come up short when the fucking stage is biggest. Louisiana coach, Smitty, listen, the Raging Cajun, I love you guys. You came in this game at 10-2. And you get molly stomped by a lame duck head coach and Charles Huff, who's a great dude, by the way, Alabama, Nick Saban, GA for years, takes the job at Southern Miss. Everyone knew it. That team performed versus a Barry Odom team that didn't perform, knowing Barry was leaving and taking the Purdue job. Charles Huff in Huntington, West Virginia, Marshall goes in and smacks the shit out of Louisiana. Louisiana don't show up, to me, was a horrible performance. In the Miami of Ohio, you got beat by another lame duck coach in Ohio, University Bobcats, molly stomped you, and you had no answer, didn't show up whatsoever. And I just had to show some love to the MAC action in there because you guys in those conference title games don't even show up. I thought it was bad business. To be in a conference title game and not show up. So there's my bottom five, Smitty. What's yours?
I like your list. I think Penn State shouldn't be on that list because of how tough they played, in the conference game. But go ahead and put my list on there, Bailey. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know we overshadowing, overlooking maybe some of these games. And listen, Shaun King, he's gonna hate me for this. I know he's probably watching this right now. But Tulane, come on, man, had a beautiful season. Everything was aligned perfectly for you to go out there and win a big time game, and then you go out there, you lose against Army, not just lose, you got your ass beat. Like you got built to ass in that game. You know what I'm saying? Horrible. Like probably one of the worst games I've seen in such a big moment in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you. Tulane looked horrible. It looked like the worst team in college football that day. So put them at the top of the list. Number 2, UNLV. UNLV number 2 on the list, man. For every reason that JV said, they went out there and they didn't give any effort. They didn't look like they wanted to be out there. Like I said, I don't know if they just knew what was going on with the head coach or what. But regardless, as a player, you should play for each other and go out there and just compete. And they looked bad. Number 3, Iowa State. Lord have mercy, man. 45-19. I understand. Listen, Arizona State physical team, well coached, but 45-19 can't happen, man. Can't happen. Won't happen. Number 4, SMU. Again, I know this ending score made it seem like it was closer than what it really was, but in reality, though, to me, it was the first almost 3 quarters SMU looked bad. And number 5, man, I got to put Texas on the list just because they lost to the same team again. So these are my bottom 5 performances, man, with Tulane being at the very top for how bad they looked against Army. I predicted Army would win on the show, but I didn't think Army was going to beat their ass the way they did. So that's where I'm at. But
Shaun King just popped in. I had no idea.
I
had no idea Shaun King was here. I had no idea that you were talking about Tulane and he was wearing a Tulane sweater. So
I didn't either.
Shaun King, let's give us Shaun, real quick, before we give you your proper introduction, you want to address anything that you just heard?
I mean, we got beat by 2 better teams. Memphis finished the year 10-2. Army finished the year 11-1. It is what it is. A lot of speculation before those 2 games. We finished the year 9-4. So obviously the speculation was wrong. I think we got caught up a little bit in the success and the surge of national attention and didn't handle business. I don't have any excuses. We lost to a 10-2 Memphis team and an 11-1 Army team. It is what it is.
Shout out to Army.
Let's do that. Hey, baby, let's bring our main man for the audio side in. Shaun King, let's bring him in the proper way. Give us. All right, Shaun, welcome in. Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Tulane legend, Shaun King.
Shaun got the hardest intro of every guest. Like, as far as the beat and everything, like, he got the best one.
Hey, Smitty, you cry long enough, hard enough, most people bend and give in.
Hey, shout out to Bailey, because, boy, I am dropping dimes in the intro. I mean, I don't know if you see the quality of those throws, but, I mean, woo, it's hard to drop handoffs.
Hey, Shaun, last week you ended the show of the week, Friday. You talked about I was wrong. The playoff 12 team is the best thing, blah, blah, blah. Still think that same way today as the playoff bracket is now out?
100%. Why wouldn't I?
Explain why.
I even think they did the right thing by rewarding SMU for their consistent performance over the course of the season, instead of being reactionary and them losing a close game to Clemson and knocking them out of the playoffs. I love this format. I mean, we got some teams that I think Boise State's live to win it all. I don't know how much Boise State everybody's watched. They are a complete football team. It's not just Ashton Genty.
They are.
The quarterback makes plays. The defense is rock solid. The special teams is excellent. You mean to tell me Boise can't win 2 games and win it all? 100% they can. Tennessee, if Nico can just play above average football, they're as good as anybody in the tournament. I love this. I absolutely love it. I'm going to let it play out. I don't have any issues with it. I was watching the show earlier, and I would say JB's list might be the most dumb list I've ever seen in the history of lists, but I would have an issue with that one. That is ridiculous. Tennessee would have a bye and not make the SEC title game. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
So you want to reward mediocrity and make it?
No, I know. I don't think you get a bye if you don't make your conference title game. Period.
But Notre Dame didn't even have to play. They got to play a first round game.
And they didn't get a bye though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's Notre Dame's punishment for not being in a conference. Is they'll never get a bye in this format.
I agree with it. Here's the reason why I took SMU out. I took
unfair, completely unfair.
Took Penn State out, and I took Indiana out. Those teams, I don't know if you know, Shaun, or have looked at it or not, because you're very privy to everything that's going on, not just football but all sports. The winning percentages, and I just have to ask you the same thing I asked Matt. You and I are the same age. When this whole thing was derived and started, and we started this whole thing, it was all strength of schedule, common opponent strength of schedule, and absolute common opponent, who we played and etc. The commissioner came out literally and said that after this, not this one, this is mine, but after the selection committee picked the bracket. But then Lane had something to say, which is absolutely right. Don't say it and not do it, because clearly you did not go by strength of schedule. And I don't know if you've seen the strength of schedules, Shaun, but take a look at that. To me, this is not the best 12 teams in football, Shaun. SMU had the 75th ranked schedule and lost their last game. I understand just awarding them a game because if they didn't play, they would have been in the old format and blah, blah, blah. They would have been 11-1, whatever. I get it. But that's not the best 12, Shaun. And listen, I'm all for conference champions to get in, but I'm not for conference champions to get a bye if they're not deserving of a bye. If we're going to be in the wild, wild west, Shaun, let's be in the wild, wild west. Place your team 1 through 12 and let them play.
But you can't give a team that's in a conference that don't make the conference championship game a bye.
I get it, but you're letting a team that Clemson in a conference championship, who lost 3 games, who just lost their state rivalry to South Carolina, who's not even in the tournament. To me, it's skewed. And I'm not. Listen, I get it. We're never going to please everyone. I understand that.
But here's what the 12-team tournament did. South Carolina, you got to handle your business. When you're up and you got a big lead at LSU during the regular season, you got to handle your business. That loss is why you aren't in the college football playoff. Alabama, you got to handle your business. You cannot go on the road and get flabbergasted by a bad Oklahoma team late in the season. If that don't happen, they're in the football playoff.
Oh, they in over them. See, to your point, they're not in. See, that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. You guys keep saying that, but they're not in. Because you say SMU should have been in regardless. Then Bama wasn't going to get in with 2 losses.
Yeah, I think they would have.
But over who?
Over SMU. And SMU has nobody to blame because they had the opportunity to control their own destiny in the ACC title game, and they lost to Clemson. It just is what it is. So they couldn't bitch and moan if they didn't get in.
But here's my thing.
They basically didn't show up for the entire first quarter. They can't blame anybody but themselves.
I agree, but here's the thing. The reason, go back to my list, Bailey. The reason I got this list is Penn State played nobody. They didn't even play the third best team in their conference record-wise in Indiana, and that would have been, to me, at least a quality determinant and knocked out one of those teams. Don't you agree to that at least? If Penn State and Indiana would have played, it would have eliminated one of these mediocre-ass teams, in my opinion. Not both of them would not have got in, and you would have got a team, to me, that's more worthy in either Ole Miss, South Carolina, or Bama. At least one of those three would have got in over a mediocre-ass Indiana and a mediocre-ass Penn State who never beats anyone, but yet we continue to want to see them in the playoffs. To me, it's like insanity. We're going to continue to watch Penn State. Penn State's going to go in and get fucking mollywopped because, again, he can't win on a big stage.
I'll say this. I was impressed in a loss by the Nittany Lions. I thought Oregon would beat them more handily. I'll say this.
I think they did.
Every year, I think this is going to be a problem because it's gonna be based on how strong the bottom half of the SEC is, based on how strong the bottom half of the Big Ten is. Now that we got these super conferences with all these teams, and this year the bottom half of the Big Ten was trash. So it makes Penn State and Indiana's schedule look really mediocre. Whereas this year, for whatever reason, the bottom half of the SEC was better than normal. Vanderbilt ended up being really good. You had Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC now who hadn't been before. It made it a much stronger conference. Really, the only gimme games in that conference was Mississippi State. I mean, Missouri was rock solid. Kentucky was a tough out. I mean, LSU's got elite talent. So, I mean, will that change next year? Who knows?
Here's my take with that. Like, so we're going to – if what happens, and if what I say is about to happen happens, that's how I should wanted to say it right. If what I'm about to say happens, I think it's only proving that this is the most watered down college football playoff bracket we've ever seen or ever will see. Penn State will go in here and mollywop SMU.
I don't know that though, JB.
We don't know it, but I'm just saying if this happens, what I think will happen, I think they'll go in and mollywop SMU, and I think they'll go mollywop beat Boise, and then I think they'll get absolutely destroyed in the final. And that's the issue I have. They are not worthy. They're not a complete best team in America. They shouldn't even be in the tournament. They wouldn't be in the tournament if it was 4. And that goes for a lot of these teams like Indiana and Boise and SMU and Clemson. Listen, they all have something, Smitty, or Shaun. They all have something. But they don't have everything. And that is what I think is the most non-competitive bracket we've ever seen. Like, I don't want to just throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks ass tournament. I want to see the best play. I missed the 1 and 2, just 1, 2.
The strongest argument you have, JB, that you haven't used yet is every game, the spread is more than a touchdown.
Yeah.
In the first round of the college.
Yeah, I would say that earlier with Smitty. I'm like, dude, look at these games.
Notre Dame's a 7.5-point favorite. Penn State's an 8.5-point favorite. Texas is a 10.5-point favorite. Ohio State's a 7.5-point favorite. We'll see if they turn out to be right. Well, based on the spreads, the first round is pretty one-sided and non-competitive.
And it sounds like it should never have been. They shouldn't be playing. We should do an NIT tournament, and you put Colorado, Miami in there, and fucking and Army, Navy, and Tulane and UNLV, and Florida and Michigan, and BYU and South Carolina. And
how about this? Get out of your grumpy chair and get in your happy chair, and look at it this way. We get big-time football next week. Instead of having to wait till the first week of January for the semifinals or something, we get big-time football next week.
Who's big time?
Ohio State, Tennessee.
It's a big game.
Notre Dame, Indiana, Penn State, SMU, Texas, Clemson. All the Orange going to be there in Austin. Come on, that's big-time football.
That ain't next week.
Yeah, it's the 20th. What's the day?
Well,
yeah, it's the 20th. Yeah. This week is the 14th. So this weekend is gonna be Army Navy, of course, and then next weekend we'll get this.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Get out your grumpy chair for a second.
I'm not in a grumpy chair. I'm just in a realistic chair.
Real quick though, JB. Is Shaun wrong what he just said? Just that statement. Are we not getting big time football next weekend?
You're getting football.
Cut it out. That's like you trying to say you're bald and you can actually grow hair and have a good edge on the front.
I can grow hair.
Right, you're bald by choice.
By choice.
Right? I'm bald because I was forced to be bald because my hairline was like Mike Tirico.
Smitty should be bald by.
Now you trying to play the middle, and I'm not going to let you play the middle of this.
I'm not playing the middle. Bottom line is, if it was right, and we all thought this was the legitimate right way to do it by this committee, then I got to ask you one fundamental problem. Why is the team that is undefeated, non-blemished, dominated the whole season, beat Ohio State, beat Penn State, your two top contenders, beat Boise State, another playoff team in this tournament. They're the only team to beat 3 teams in the bracket, yet have a bye and have to play a Tennessee or Ohio State in their first round matchup. To me, you failed by that alone. Let's not even dive into everything else. The bottom line is they should be where Arizona State is, to say the very least. And if we go through and rank them 1 through 12 in the right way and not just a favoritism way, then you would have something. I would at least have to balk on this whole 12-team thing. And I would say, all right, well, at least we're going to see a team that was deserving all season long get rewarded, Shaun, which is the committee's term, not mine. They should be rewarded for a regular season output of great performances. Oregon is the only non-blemished team on this list, and they got absolutely fucked. And that is why I believe the SEC bias is still there, even though I think more teams of the SEC should be in because of what you said. The bottom was better than the other bottoms. And I believe this is a ridiculous bracket when it comes to mediocrity.
So you think Oregon got hosed because they could play a mediocre offensive team in Tennessee or an Ohio State team they've already beat?
Yeah,
as opposed to potentially playing Texas, who was number 2 going into the championship game weekend.
Shaun, thank you. That's what I was trying to say earlier. And maybe I didn't explain it as eloquently as you just did. But when Matt was on the show and Jay was on the show, they were like, well, this is what the bracket has always been. I was like, I hear what y'all saying. I was like, but calm down for a second. Like, Texas is a 5th seed. Texas is better than Ohio State and Tennessee. So I would much rather face a 8th or 9th or then possibly face the 5th. Now, I guess your argument to that is like, well, what if Clemson wins? Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure.
But then you get Dabo Swinney and the Clemson machine, who are on a mission to prove that you can win a national title without being involved in the transfer portal, without getting all caught up in NIL, with telling kids once they commit they can't take other visits. Like Dabo's preaching and marching on a whole nother platform.
No, you guys don't get what I'm saying. Ohio State, you guys really sit here and tell me they're the 8th seed? Come on, man.
I like Texas.
Come on. Let's start using some rational thinking here.
You didn't want Ohio State in.
The 8th best team, Shaun?
Ohio State. If we're ranking the quarterbacks in the college football playoffs.
No. Hold on, JB. You can't praise Ohio State now when I was the one that was praising them. You was anti-Ohio State.
I'm not praising them. I'm just telling you simply that they're not the 8th best, they're worst team in this thing, though. Come on, man. So you're telling me you'd rather play Ohio State than fucking Clemson?
I think they're both tough outs.
Come on, man. Let's be real. You guys have been on this show for fucking 7 months talking about how loaded this roster is. Urban Meyer said it's the best ever. Blah, 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 blah. And now it's okay. Now it's okay to play them in the second round.
You know where I stand with Ohio State. I'm just saying it's funny hearing you say this now. When I'm
with Shaun. The quarterback is a hubcap on a Lamborghini. I'm with Shaun.
I'll be honest with you. The thing about playing Ohio State, I know if I can get in the 20s, I probably can win the game. Some of these other teams, I might have to get in the high 30s and 40s. They're much better on offense. I'm of the ilk that Ryan Day should be fired. I love their roster. They picked the wrong quarterback in the transfer portal, and they're mediocre on offense.
That's fine.
Because Chip Kelly's still calling plays from the 80s.
I agree with you on all that. My point is, though, that is Oregon getting fucked. Like, how is it not? And they're going to play – I'd rather play Clemson or Texas. I'm going to be honest. Texas is coming off a loss. Shaun, you and I and Smitty, all three of us know momentum. When you lose your last game,
State is too.
That's what I'm saying. But they didn't get a conference title game. Losing your last game, going into another, new season. Now it's playoffs, and I just got my ass whipped in my last game. Now I got to flip the gear and switch. That's a tough ass draw versus a team that's coming off winning. And I'd rather play Texas or Clemson all day long over Ohio State or a Tennessee team that is as good on defense as anybody. And if Nico, which is a very talented guy, to Shaun's point, comes in and just makes layups, Tennessee's a fucking national champ possible.
The problem is he has not made layups. That's why Tennessee was on the bubble. So,
but that's the same as Ohio State's QB. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but I'm saying Texas is the real deal, though.
I don't buy into your argument. Bailey, can we put the bracket up one more time, please? I don't buy into your argument simply because of this. No one really knows how good Notre Dame is. They've looked phenomenal. They've dismantled everybody. Penn State just gave Oregon everything they can handle. Do they deserve a rematch? It's not like that'll be a cakewalk. I mean, so it's not like if they were in the second, third, or fourth spot with the bye, it's a guaranteed easier game.
Okay, am I not hearing both of you say the same thing? Basically, you got to play who you got to play to win it all, right?
Facts.
Yeah. Yes.
Facts. Then thank you.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Thank you. So you just make my point.
So
you made my point.
Just go
you guys don't even. You're not thinking outside the box. Then you made my point, homie. Then rank them 1 through 12. Then don't make it this way where you don't reward the team that it was unblemished. The number 1 team in America who've earned the right, who beat 3 teams in the tournament. The only team in this thing that's beat 3 of these teams. You're not rewarding them based on what you said, commissioner. You said strength of schedule absolutely matters and regular season absolutely matters. No, it doesn't, because you ranked South Carolina over Ole Miss, who beat you.
If you just look at the math, and I know over at Compton Community College, y'all got those advanced, high-end math classes. This is ranked 1 to 12. They're guaranteed that the 1 seed can't play anybody higher than the 8 or 9.
No.
Right? The 4 seed
you see a ranking. You're going by what you see number-wise. This is not the number 1 through 12, because Boise State is not a 4 seed or a 3 seed in a tournament. They're the 9th ranked team in America, but this bracket has them as a 3rd team with the bye. That is not the best way to do this. I don't care what anybody says. Boise State, yes, we love them. Genty story, they're not a bye week team. There's no way.
But they are.
But I get it. But no, they are because of the criteria. They're not because of my eyeball test tells me they're not.
I think Boise State and Arizona State got a chance to win it all.
I think you guys are in denial,
I don't think
man.
anybody's a juggernaut.
I agree. That's why it's watered down to my point.
Today. Me and Shaun Spider-Man meme.
Even look at Georgia, who, going against Kirby Smart at your own risk, and I don't think Carson Beck's playing all that great, but what if he can't play?
He's out. I heard he's already out.
Right. That other kid don't scare you.
I forgot about that. I forgot Carson was gonna be out.
Texas lost because Quinn Ewers is not an elite quarterback. Quinn Ewers out there throwing them lollipop balls, man. If he would have stepped into some of them throws and threw it with conviction and confidence, they'd have ran Georgia out of the stadium.
I ain't gonna lie. I got Ohio State winning this whole damn thing.
Even without. Oh no, not with Walker Howard at quarterback. No, it's not happening.
Ohio State running the table, Shaun.
It's not happening. They can lose to Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is really good. Really good.
Man. I'm gonna tell you right now. I believe this. I believe. I'm going
Boise State. I'm betting Boise State to win it all.
You lying?
Then you have to come in and agree. You have to be on my side. Then that football's watered down. I don't understand. You can't say that out the side of your mouth over here, and then on this side say Boise State's going to win.
But why can't it be that Boise State just has a really good team this year, JB? See, hold on. That's how I know for a fact you're letting the previous history of Boise and certain teams, don't rub your face, you're letting the previous history of certain teams distort the current and the now. Live in the present, Jason.
And Boise
be now.
can have a team on any given year that's deserving of being in the college football playoff. It's not a program history competition. It's the 2024 best team. They got one of the top 12 best teams in the country.
Facts.
I don't understand how we're putting the Mountain West, where we've never, ever, ever in the history of the playoff committee, in a higher seating or in a higher regard to an ACC champ, an SEC runner-up, a Big 12 runner-up. They weren't even a Power 5 program. Like, you're telling me it's not watered down? Listen, Shaun, we got one of our he left. He'll be back. It's E-Dub Monday. He's going to join us. Listen, Shaun, there's no way. Put Boise in. I agree with you. There's no way they deserve a bye in a conference that played absolutely.
Yes, they do. Because everyone knew the rules before the opening kick to start the 2024 season.
You can know the rules. That doesn't mean it's
so you
right.
knew what you were playing for.
It doesn't mean that we can't argue it and say that this is not watered down.
It's not watered down. It's not.
Shaun, this is Super Bowl
By the
winning.
way,
You got another Super Bowl winner joining us.
won the Heisman too versus UNLV.
Thank you. But it's E-Dub, Eric Weddle, Super Bowl champ Monday. Bailey,
E-Dub.
let's bring our main man in the right way.
Yeah. I'm in my mode, ready to transform the winter. I hate a storm, Hail Marys, I make it pour. Good, I ain't lying, you little giants, we been defiant. Rising. What's the cost to be the boss? Breaking down the walls. We all lean once the coin gets tossed. Got the kind of action, never acting. No need to scramble to get traction. We make it happen. From 3-4 to 4-3, we get it cracking.
Yeah.
E-Dub. We got 2 Super Bowl champs in here. One of the realest show on planet Earth. Appreciate both you guys, man, for joining us. I got to ask you, Shaun, this has been a high debate all show long. We had Matt on. We had Shaun on. Me and Smitty and I started the show off with it. I don't agree with the 12-team playoff thing. I wish it was 4. That's the old man on the thing. I get it. Blah, blah. It is what it is. It is 12 teams, though. Did the committee get the 12 right, Eric Weddle?
100% it did. Let's go.
Thank you.
Listen, Alabama. Don't lose to Vanderbilt and don't lose and get blown out by Oklahoma, and you won't have an issue. So everything else is the rules are in place, okay? And the Boise's and all that. Listen, if you're ranked higher than a conference champion, then you deserve you deserve the bye. Is it right? Probably not. No, but that's the way the rules are. It's exciting. I think it's. They can go back and forth. Like the reality of the way this is you're gonna get less and less great non-conference games because they're gonna stop scheduling them because it's not worth it because the strength of schedule and the conference rankings and this and that are you couldn't have the same Florida State issue like that happened last year. So
let me give you guys some I want to just outside the box thing. If we're going to use strength of schedule and not reuse it, say we use it, but we're not because they clearly didn't. If we're going to say strength of schedule matters, until there's proof, and this is my point, Shaun, until there's proof that the football world as we know it is watered down like JB says it is, then unless there's proof that the SEC still plays the toughest schedule record-wise or five-star signing-wise or NIL collective-wise, whatever scenario and data you use, if the SEC schedule's still the top dog, then in my opinion, they need to play their 9 league games and then limit the non-conference, and they deserve to have more teams in. If that's fact. If it's not fact, and it's, to my point, it's watered down, then it needs to go 1 through 12, period, and get rid of all this other hoopla. Because in my opinion, there's no way that SMU, whose 75th ranked schedule of strength, beat not one top 25 team, deserves to get in over a Bama, Ole Miss, or South Carolina who beat Georgia, who beat Texas. I just don't see it. To me, it's not the best competitive teams in a 12-team playoff. To me, Shaun, this is a round robin tournament, not a best of the best.
Well, let me say this about SMU's strength of schedule. When they played Louisville was 22nd in the country. When they played Pittsburgh was undefeated still and ranked in the top 25 in the country. So some of that is timing. But I think you make these college schedules way in advance, right? So I think because of the conference realignment, what we're going to stop seeing is Clemson, Georgia to start the year off. Because, the big programs have started to schedule like massive early games to kind of get exposure. Alabama did it with Sabin, whether they played Miami or whoever, in a neutral site game. I think those are going to go away. And teams are just going to say, okay, we got 9 conference games. We can't risk, playing a major competitor in our non-con schedule. And
that goes to my point, though, right? Is the SEC truly the best strength of schedule?
We don't know that. Here's a problem. So having been, all of us have been coaches. I don't know if Smitty's coached before, but all others of you have been coaches. The athlete that plays in the SEC is different than the athlete that plays in the other conferences. I think that's without question across the board. It's a better athlete overall. The problem with the SEC argument is it never holds up in the bowl game platform that we've had. Like the SEC has not dominated bowl season.
No, but they dominate national title season.
I know, right? So that's the top of the SEC.
Because they don't go to bowls. It's shitty. Right. Why would they go to
But what we're talking about is strength of schedule. The top of the SEC is better than any conference. Georgia and Alabama's run over the last decade is unprecedented. But the middle of the SEC that is bowl eligible every year, they haven't dominated these bowl matchups versus the Big Ten, versus the ACC, versus the Big 12. So it's hard to just unequivocally say that the SEC strength of schedule is so much tougher than everybody else.
Well, the Pac-12 is dominated, and they eliminated a whole conference. So that's my point. The players aren't playing in these bowl games because we're using the word quote-unquote meaningless bowl
But that's
game.
a new thing, JB. That's the last couple year thing. I'm talking the last 15 years. The numbers show the SEC has not dominated bowl season.
Well, usually because there's 3 or 4 teams in the damn tournament. That's, to be honest, every other conference below 5 has been garbage.
You're saying SEC is top heavy, is what you're saying, right?
Well, they all are. They all are, Shaun. E-Dub, aren't all these conferences top heavy? I mean, if we really look at it in the last few years before Wazoo and Oregon State had decent years, the Pac-12 bottom was horrific. Stanford, Cal, Wazoo, Oregon State. I mean, all these teams in every single conference from the Big Ten. Look at the bottom. Ohio State, every year we've been asking to play Michigan again. Instead, they go play Iowa, who can't score more than 9 points in the conference championship game. Mollywop them, and they're a shoo-in in the tournament. So now we're wanting to see more competitive nature, and then guess what happened? It bit them in the ass, Shaun. BYU, who's in the Big 12, now is going to play Colorado. You had every opportunity to play them head-to-head in the conference, along with Iowa State. The committee has failed. The whole thing has failed, in my opinion. Now we're going to see BYU play Colorado when it means absolutely nothing. To me, that is failure. That's just me. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm telling you. It's backwards.
He does. JB's all or nothing. Like he's either this.
I mean, it's just backwards. Like it's backwards.
JB I mean, don't believe in Christmas next, right? He'll be like, why would you put up
to Shaun's point, it is valid because what he's saying is outside of the 2 teams that have been in the playoffs for the 14 playoffs every year, the rest of the conference is 500 against other teams or below. So that's what he's saying, and you can't say, since they play each other and they're always ranked in the top 10. Like you could go to the Big 10 teams, like Penn State is ranked in the top 6. Who did they beat this year?
No one.
Exactly.
Indiana.
So it's
Indiana.
It's like, okay, if Boise State was pre-ranked in the top 10, then it would be the same conversation. Because the Big 10 from top to bottom is not good at all. Okay, we need to stop talking about the Big 10 being the Big 12 the same. Like I'm just saying, Arizona State is playing better than anyone right now. I wouldn't want to play them when you're looking at them. It's the first time. It's really I know it's talking points and this and that. I really don't really care. It should be fun and see what happens. I just think you couldn't not put SMU in when they were 11-1 going in and they lose a close game like that.
Last second field goal.
Yeah, like you can't not put them in over a team that didn't even play in the conference championship game or had 3 losses. Like if you have 3 losses, you're not gonna get in. I think Miami had a better chance to get in than Alabama just because they had 2 losses.
Me too. That's what I said. I said if you're gonna move SMU, the only team I think I would put in would be Miami. But you made a good point, and Matt said it earlier. Like you can't get punished for playing a great game.
Then they're not going to play. The SMU coach was like, "I'll just tell my whole team that they're sick and we can't play, and then we're in no matter what."
I got 2 points I got to make. Number 1, Clemson has 3 losses. We're setting a precedent. Next year there'll be a 4-loss.
They won their conference championship.
There'll be a 4-loss thing, though. I'm just telling you, there'll be a 4-loss.
But if that happens, that's the rule. You win your conference, you're automatically in the playoff. That's how it should be. Like when you talk about your goals. And your coach gets up there and says, "Hey, win our conference championship. We have a chance at the national championship." It doesn't matter anything else. You could have 8 losses. It doesn't matter. Or I agree. I mean, 8 losses wouldn't get there.
But just like NFL, I mean, hey, you win your division, then shit.
I agree. I agree. All that. I'm just telling you. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll agree to that. Let's go to the
Is it the top 12? Is it the top 12 to JV's point? Probably not. But with the rules in place, I think they got it right. So let's move on.
Let me ask you guys this. How much credence, how much credence or how much value should go into the fact that today, I'm talking about today, Shaun, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Alabama had to go through Georgia, Tennessee, Texas in a league versus Arizona State, Boise State, and SMU. Who did they have to go through in their league to earn the right?
We all agree with you. I don't think we'd not disagree. We agree, but the rules are as what the rules are. So
but I'm just saying that's why the top 12 matters.
So I like to put specifics and facts into these discussions. I don't want to hear nothing from Lane Kiffin. I don't want to hear nothing from him.
I don't either. I agree.
Hey, listen, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, a bad LSU team, and Florida.
I agree.
There you go.
That's on you, Lane.
But we can agree. We can agree. When they lost to Florida, you said it. Florida's playing as well as anybody when they lost to them. That has to matter.
Absolutely. And if you can't beat Florida at that point, you don't deserve to be in the college football playoff. Point blank series. Period. South Carolina. South Carolina.
I gotta ask you this question before you keep spitting. But I gotta ask you then: how does Clemson, who lost to South Carolina a week ago, how does SMU get into that? How does SMU get in then losing to Clemson, who just lost to South Carolina? That goes against your point you just made, though.
No, it doesn't. SMU's 11-2. They're rewarded for their consistency.
It don't matter. They lost. Keep cooking. I had to ask that.
South Carolina, if they want to know why they're not in the college football playoff, it's because they came off a bye week and lost to Ole Miss 27-3. Only scored 3 points versus Ole Miss. That loss in the game against LSU when they were way up and they let LSU come back, and that's why they're not in it. Alabama. If Alabama late in the season doesn't go to Norman, Oklahoma and get mollywopped, they're in the
playoff.
That's on them.
You can't lose to Oklahoma.
Smitty, we got some more topics. We got to move on. I know you can't lose.
I know we've been talking college football all day long because that's the biggest topic going right now.
Let's talk about the game of the year. The game of the year, 125 on Fox. Let's talk about that game.
Come on now.
Hey, I got to ask you both. Since E-Dub wants to talk about it.
Bills Rams.
Are the Rams a scary ass opponent if they get healthy like they've shown? They're winners of 6 of 7 after the start of all these injuries. Are they not a scary opponent? Who wants to play them?
Nobody.
Well, I think they got to get in first to make some noise. They got Thursday night, tough Niners game. Niners saved their season. Showed how bad Chicago is and always will be. Just what a game! Like, you talk about a real want to watch a high level offensive display of just really, really top notch football. It was that game of the year. It reminded me of the Rams Chiefs 5-6 years ago
in LA.
That shootout. It was just an incredible game. And I just want to get you guys' opinions, especially the coaches in here. Smitty, you obviously could chime in as well because you're definitely you're a coach. Yes, why in the world did the Bills head coach from I can't remember his name for some reason. Yes. Why did you call timeout on the QB sneak? Just run it again. You called timeout. You lost the game under a minute. Why did you call timeout? You so stupid. Why? And I don't want them to win, but as a coach, I'm thinking to myself,
it made no sense.
Did you not go over it in the huddle? Hey, we're going to QB sneak this, goose it, whatever we want to do. If we don't get it, we get on the ball and do it again so we save our 3 timeouts. As soon as he called the timeout, they lost the game. The game was over.
Shaun,
go ahead.
Shaun, if I mentioned this to you, Shaun, what would you say, fact or cap? And we're not even in the segment. If I told you that Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, but Josh Allen's the best player in the NFL, agree or disagree to that?
Yeah. And not because I don't like Matthew Stafford, but you can't have any conversation about best quarterback and not have Mahomes at 1.
Not what?
No, not this year, Shaun. No, not this year, Shaun.
And not have what, Shaun?
Mahomes at 1.
Oh.
What? For what?
No, are we talking this season, or are we talking about like our
oh man, we gotta get over this Mahomes shit.
Right here, December 2024.
Nah, Shaun, I love you, Shaun.
Stop.
I love you, and I respect you. You play quarterback. I did like Joe Burrow's outperforming Mahomes.
Trent right now.
Morse, Stafford, Sam Darnold.
Shaun, we know game on the line, Super Bowl. You're picking him. I get it, but he is not playing.
So till that changes, what Weddle just said, he got to be number 1. They 12 and 9. I don't care what. Hey, beat him. Hey, let me answer your first question though about the Rams. The only thing that worries me about the Rams, they have a very indoor offense. I wonder if they got to go to Seattle or go to Green Bay or even Washington in inclement weather, like because they don't got the best offensive line, but inside Stafford is just. I mean, he's a machine back there. They're throwing the ball everywhere. But if they end up on the road in the playoffs and it's cold, it's raining, or it's snowing, will that offense hold up in that weather?
Here's my argument, Shaun.
I'm with you.
E-Dub, here's my argument. If they go on the road, two of the 4 teams they possibly can play are indoor. Detroit, Minnesota. He'll ball in both of those places.
Detroit's going to get a bye.
Yeah, they're going to get a bye.
Well, I'm just saying, but they'll play Minnesota. Philly would be the only team they'd have to go to. Like, in my opinion, outdoors. So, I don't know. But real quick, though, is Seattle being dismissed in this conversation? They're playing pretty goddamn good football right now.
They are.
And they're another team that's right there.
Like, to me, Seattle got to show me in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't care what they do in the regular season. I mean, everybody in that division got a break because San Francisco's laying an egg for the most part with all the injuries and stuff. But, I mean, I'd have to see Seattle do it in the first round of playoffs before I would believe in them.
Can the Rams or Seattle, or Seattle's winning right now, but whoever wins the NFC West, the other team will be chasing the Washington Commanders as far as seeding goes. Can those teams supersede Washington Commanders? Well, if the Commanders fall out of this thing and get 2 teams from the NFC West in, which we didn't think would be possible earlier in the year, now it could be a real thing. The Rams could, or the Seattle, whoever doesn't win that division, seems like they'll win, they'll get in, and then there'll be a team that it comes down to the Washington Commanders, in my opinion. Are they going to fall out of this thing? I don't know if E.W. or Shaun is a privy to this, but I know right now the Rams trail the Washington Commanders as far as that last 7th spot. So
well, I think the Commanders are on a bye this week, and then they got New Orleans coming off the bye. They got Eagles, Falcons, Cowboys. So I think a lot of this is going to be scheduling. Like,
yeah. I think if they get to 10. They get to 10 wins. They need 2 out of the 4. They can get 2 out of the 4.
Right.
I bet they get 3 out of 4 on that. That's
because they got Atlanta, New Orleans, and the Cowboys 3 of their last 4 games.
Yeah.
Atlanta's bad right now.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's gonna be interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's wide open, JB. I think anybody can beat anybody. I don't see a dominant team. If you force me to put my money on one team right now, the team that I would back with the most confidence is Pittsburgh, actually.
It makes sense. I'm there. Yeah. Like amazing defense. Russell's been playing a lot better. I mean, you trust the coach. It makes sense, for sure, picking them. But like you said, though, it's just one of those weird years where I feel like we always said like any team legit could win this year. But to your point, Shaun, your guy who Mahomes and the Chiefs keep finding ways to win. I made a video last night.
They be cheating, man.
Hey, I was halfway joking, Weddle, but I said, listen, man, they cheating somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what they're doing. I ain't put my finger on it yet, Weddle, but it's just they don't look good. I think JB said it last week. This is like the worst 12-1 team in NFL history. They do not look good, but they keep winning. I don't know what's going on, but Shaun King, I'm gonna start with you. Maybe you can answer it. Like how I guess is this Chiefs team? Are they gonna three-peat? Like, is this the real deal?
I think they are, because they're going to end up with home field. And it's tough to go there in KC, man. The place is loud. And it's just a lot of the AFC teams are in outdoor cold climate, so it won't be the weather. It's just tough to beat them there, man. They got championship caliber, like, organization, man. Andy's there. Like, last night, think about this. People say they won't buy Mahomes. Chiefs got the ball, under a minute left in the game, third down. He scrambles to the right, pump fakes twice, finds a completion.
Yeah, they blatant miss holding call though, Shaun, as you saw twice on that drive. Go ahead, though.
By the right tackle, they kept calling Bosa on defensive offside, but the right tackle's false starting every play.
Let me say this: the officiating in the NFL across the board is at an all-time low. It's some tragically bad officiating going on. I'm not going to isolate the Chiefs just because they on national TV all the time, and you get to see theirs. It's bad across the board.
Before Smitty goes up, before Smitty has another topic, I gotta say something, and I'm gonna make a prediction right now. The Chiefs are gonna lose in the first round. I'm telling you right now. They have set the precedent so high. They're gonna lose first round.
Well, they're not gonna play.
You know what I mean?
Their first game.
His first game.
No
divisional round.
Because they'll lose to Buffalo. They're going to lose to Buffalo or San Diego or somebody at home. Watch.
San Diego.
Hey, when are we going to hold Justin Herbert accountable for not stepping up in these moments?
I've been saying it.
I mean, he got Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer ran one of the top 5 routes of the season last night.
Oh, yeah.
And he threw the ball 5 yards behind him.
Shaun, why does it seem like those type of plays always happen when the teams are playing against the Chiefs? It's like I don't get it. It's like wide open, you catch that, it changes everything in the game.
Man, don't do that. Don't do that, man.
I don't know, man.
Hey,
I don't know. I'm not experienced.
You hang around.
I gotta know what these two think about the next topic because I gotta.
Yes, sir. Let's move on, man. Let's move on.
E-Dub's coaching right now. I gotta know his take on this.
Back to college, man. Listen, UNLV head coach, man, Barry Odom is leaving UNLV and he getting hired at Purdue to be their next head coach, man. I thought it was a shocker seeing this. E-Dub, I'm going to go to you first on this one. When you saw this, and I don't know if you're just now seeing this now, whatever, what's your thoughts? Was this a shocker? Are you surprised? What's your thoughts on this?
It would be hard for me to take a job and then 1 year later leave. Same thing with Bronco Mendenhall going up to Utah State. I don't know. It's hard for me to sit in front of a room and preach certain things and your word and this and that, and then I would feel like I'm
fake.
Yes. Yeah, and so I don't. But I'm speaking of in a situation where I am perfectly content. I don't need to work. So I coach because I love to coach. I want to give back to the kids. Now, if I was in a situation to ever coach college or NFL, it would never be in a position to progress up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And I don't want to sit here and say like the opportunities there to Purdue is a level up than UNLV, but I don't know. It's hard for me to after 1 year. It's not a good look.
He's been there 2 years. Weddle.
Yeah. I don't. It's tough. It's tough.
Let me say this. Here's why I understand it, and I actually agree with it. Barry Odom's a lifetime college football coach. Head coach in Missouri, head coach in Arkansas. If I'm not mistaken. Those are college towns. They don't compete with pro sports. Everybody's into the state football team, right? UNLV is a tough job because of the pro entities in the city. You've got the Raiders. You've got the Golden Knights. You've got the Aces. You're fighting for a spot. Like, for instance, I'm in a group chat here with a bunch of guys in Vegas. On Friday, I sent a long text to them. I said, this is why UNLV can't have nice things. They're playing in the biggest football game in program history, and all of you jackalls found something else to do besides get together and watch the game. Mm-hmm. It's just what you deal with in a city that has all this stuff going on. You go to Purdue and Lafayette, if he can get that thing back rolling, all of Lafayette shuts down when Purdue plays. So I think he's desiring that atmosphere, which is a college town. Everything revolves around the program. No knock on UNLV. It's just they're in a city where they're just a blip on the radar from
there's a lot going
priority
on.
standpoint, right?
Here's the only thing I'll say. Knowing Barry, he's a Midwest. He's from Oklahoma, born and raised. Then he's been coaching in Missouri. He's been coaching in Wyoming. He's been at places where it's more Midwest catered, and that's what he is. I think UNLV, Vegas, close to LA, big city life, not him. I catered. I'm leaning that way as why he did it. But to me, right now, what he's built in Vegas and having the Vegas attraction for kids in today's era, I think UNLV's the better gig. Purdue's a total rebuild, total gut system, another gut system. And I don't know if you can gut programs anymore in a quick enough time to build something before you just want to leave again. That's why I think this is a problem. I think we're doing that in Bronco Mendenhall. I get it. I know him as well. He's a Utah Mormon guy. I understand why he wanted to go back to Utah. But again, 1 year, to me, these administrators got to stop hiring these guys for 1 year deals unless you get the money back. The same for the collectives from the kids that don't play in the bowl game. Then it needs to be in the contract. Play the game since you think you're professionals now, or give the money back. I think that needs to be in contracts for coaches and players. If we're in the Wild Wild West, as we are, then we need to make it the Wild Wild West and start holding guys accountable. I'll
say this, JB. I'm good friends with David Harris, the AD. The profile of UNLV football has been raised greatly. It's a desirable job. A lot of people design this job. I hope my guy Brendan Marion gets it, who's the OC there. But
Shaun, to my point,
all they can do is tell Barry Odom thank you.
You can raise the bar. You can raise the bar, but now to me, you set a bad precedent. You've told everybody out there that we are the #1 stepping stone job. That's the problem you've created, in my opinion. Now you come here to get a bigger job. Nah. I want to be the job. And that's why I like Kenny Dillingham. He's from Tempe. He's from Arizona. He ain't leaving Arizona State. I know Kenny too well. He will not leave unless he's fired. He's not going to take and shop another job. He is there to build.
But JB, he's also in a Power 4 conference at the State University of Arizona. Like, that's different than being outside of the Power 4.
But why does that matter now? Why does that matter now in the 12-team playoff, homie? Boise just got in.
I know, but with the landscape moving and shifting and people talking about doing away with the NCAA and the Big Four breaking off and having their own thing, like, if you got a chance to be in that group, you don't want to get stuck outside of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Real
quick, I got two more questions for you guys on coaching situations. Shaun, for you, Scott Frost going back to UCF. I know you were one who said that UCF should at least take a jab at trying to get Prime over there. They went back with the old thing. You know what I'm saying? Scott Frost, what's your quick thoughts on that?
Okay.
The face says it all, E-Dub.
Hey, he went undefeated there.
He did go undefeated.
Have we ever seen this before? Like, this goes against everything that JB just said. UCF gave Scott Frost a chance to be a head coach. He won and said, I'm out. And then they took it back.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they're taking it back. Man, the AD at UCF is trash. He never even reached out to Deion Sanders.
He's on the block, Shaun. I'm coming back to that.
I hope UCF lose every game.
He said I missed that old thing, Shaun.
He went back, Shaun, to your point, to my point. I agree with you. He's going back because he can't get another job. And I would venture to say he'll go there and be in the college football playoff before before I'm saying before Matt Rule and Nebraska will. That's the crazy part about this.
And I don't want to get it. I don't want to miscommunicate this. I don't have a problem with Scott Frost taking the UCF job. I'm talking about the AD at UCF settling for Scott Frost. Like, that is a big time football job.
He's like, hey, he won here. I got to go back. Right. Both parties had to go back.
For me, because Deion is from Fort Myers, he would have had to publicly say no.
I hear that. Well, they went back to the old
thing.
We
got a question for Edub. Same thing.
Edub saying, go back to now. This for Edub. Your guy, your coach, Kyle Whittingham, announced he was going to return back to Utah. Got the letter right here. I know we were having conversations about what we thought he may do and wasn't for sure how the season would be. Now that we know, though, he's coming back. What's your thoughts?
I think it's great for the direction of the team and the players, knowing that the head coach is back, and we all knew you're not going to force anybody out, especially him and what he's done. So if he wants to come back, then that's his right to do so. I believe that this is probably going to be his last year, and hopefully we go out and win it all for him. And
how does it affect a kid like? How does it affect a freshman about to be a sophomore stud player like Gage Weddle and all these other young kids coming up in recruiting? Though, how does that affect that part?
Well, I think.
Meaning, is he setting up his assistant to get those recruits? Or?
Yeah. Like the offensive staff, the new offensive staff that's coming in. Does the new head coach next year, Coach Scally, did he have any say? Was he in the interview? Does he like this guy? It's just an odd situation right now. So I'm glad he's coming back. We'll see what happens and how it goes.
Hey, before we end the show,
put me on the spot.
Hey, before we end the show with our ride or die segment, we got to discuss what's tonight. And tonight
Monday Night Football preview, baby,
is a game between two nobodies. One guy that should be in the Heisman in the MVP consideration, and Joe Burrow, versus a guy that has a lame duck head coach, possibly with a backup QB playing. Winners of 2 in a row. What's your thoughts on this, Shaun?
Burrow might throw for 500.
And
I'm here for it. Well, I want to see a shootout. I want to see exciting football on Monday night. That's all. Nothing else matters. It's crazy.
Yards. Micah gets 2.5 sacks.
For the second year, what's interesting, for the second year in a row, the Cowboys kind of look like a better team with Cooper Rush than they do with Dak Prescott.
What do I know?
I have to say 2 years in a row. That's how it comes.
Well, that's 2 years that he's played in a row.
Who you got winning, Shaun?
The game's in Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys win, man. The Bengals are terrible on defense. So it's tough to back a team that can't stop anybody. You know what I mean? But Burrows and that firepower should be enough, but I wouldn't lay 5.5 points with the Bengals defense. I don't trust those clowns.
Ida, what about you? Who you got winning?
Bengals. I'm taking the quarterback, the weapons. Cowboys are awful. Sorry, Cowboys.
Let's do it. Well, JB, let's end the show the right way, man. Ride or die. Brought to you by Bet US, man.
That's a dope pick. That's a dope pick, JB.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, ride or die. Let's do it. Talking about tonight's game, Edub, are you riding with Joe Burrow or the Dallas defense?
Joe Burrow, no question.
John?
I'm all in with Ellen DeGeneres. Let's go.
You know what? I'm going to ride with the Cowboys defense. They've been playing well as of late. Cowboys defense.
I'm riding with Joe Burrow.
You're just going against the grain. You don't believe that. Not Cowboys. 1 ounce of your body believes that.
Man, Cowboys been rolling with them last few weeks.
Hey, very interesting one. Real quick, we'll run through these so we can do some factor cap too. Real quick, who you ride or dying with? And this is interesting. Listen who I'm using here. T. Higgins or CeeDee Lamb? not even using Jamar Chase, obviously. T. Higgins or CeeDee Lamb?
T. Higgins.
I'm going CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee's still trying to prove something. I think T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, since they didn't give either one of them a long-term extension at contract, I think they're about to go in stay healthy mode here soon. Now that Cincy looks to be mathematically eliminated for the playoffs.
That's a good point, Shaun. That's a good point.
I'm going CeeDee Lamb, man. CeeDee
Very
Lamb,
good point.
He's a ball. He's a better receiver. Cooper Rush knows how to get him the ball. They got a cool little connection going on. Give me CD.
Ride or die. Zach Taylor or Mike McCarthy?
Zach Taylor.
As in getting fired?
As in hot seat?
Who's the better coach right now? Not 12 years ago when they won a Super Bowl.
I don't know, really. That's still kind of tough. I mean, the Bengals are 4-8. We're one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah, it's not the offensive problem.
But I mean, you're the head coach. You're not the offensive coordinator, but he's the head coach.
I'm gonna go Zach Taylor. I'm not gonna overlook the fact that he had the Bengals in the Super Bowl game with the lead in the fourth quarter. What, 3 years ago?
It was a long time ago, Sean. I almost forgot.
Much more recent than Mike McCarthy playing past the second week of the beat.
But Mike McCarthy got to deal with Jerry Jones and the whole Cowboys. A lot going on with that. Give me Mike McCarthy
Mike McCarthy just looks lost on the sideline. I don't like when my coach just looks befuddled.
Yeah.
Every time the camera go over there.
I don't like his demeanor. Give me Zach Taylor.
I'm riding with Zach. I'm riding with the guy that's been to a Super Bowl most recently. I'm going to roll with Zach Taylor. Ride or die, E-Dub. Ride or die, E-Dub. Bengals special teams or the Dallas Cowboys run game. Both are very, very mid.
Bad. Who would I? Oh, gosh.
The reason I
Neither.
got this question in here is because to me it comes down to special teams tonight or Dallas's run game, and it's what wins this game. And I think both have been very bad. So ride or die. Ride or die with.
I'm wrong with the Cow. I think Dowdle has been playing a little better last 2 weeks. If I'm not mistaken. I have to go look back at his numbers, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys run game.
I think Rico Dardell has looked better in the last couple weeks. He's been getting 20+ touches, so I'm gonna go with Rico to keep going up the ladder and eventually become like the legit starting back for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, neither are going to decide the win or loss, so it doesn't matter.
All right, last thing. Ride or die, powered by BetUS. BetUS number on this, over under 50. Ride or die, over under 50 total points.
Oh, over. The Bengals might get 50.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 42-10. Somewhere around there, so
damn blowout, huh?
I was gonna say over. I was gonna say over.
Terrible at betting.
Smitty did his whole little song and dance. Like I can't roll with Smitty like that, man. I'm gonna go under, man, just because I got on this one. He made it seem too easy.
38-27, Cowboys upset the Bengals.
I don't know. Dallas ain't putting up more than.
Cooper Rush about to have the game of his life. Hashtag Maction. I strip stacked him in college. He's about to ball out tonight. You heard it here first, E-Dub.
Hey, head on over to BetUS right now. Use the promo code Coach JB. Use the promo code Coach JB and bet it over. I'm going over the line. 50.
Over.
I'm taking over. I'm taking the Bengals to win tonight. That's my lock pick of the week to start the week. Powered by BetUS.
Win and cover or just win?
I'm taking the Bengals money line and the over. I think this will be a shootout. That's just me. I think the obvious money's with the over, but it could be under because the money's with the over. You know how that goes. Betting is very, very
I was going over till Smitty start yelling over like it just was that simple.
Don't let me go with your fault. Go with your heart. Go with your gut.
Hey, ride or die. Jay-Z or R. Kelly?
All right, then. Have a good one. Have a good one, brother. Later on this week.
If I had to choose, I'm going Kales. He's my favorite artist of all time. I don't agree with nothing that he does on the side, but that's my guy.
Sean left. Yeah, hey, usually E-Dub would have left. Usually E-Dub would have got out.
Man,
hey.
I'm good.
E-Dub, man. Appreciate you as always on E-Dub Monday. Enjoy the week. We'll see you next week as we get ready for bowl season and the
Yes,
football playoff. Starts on the 20th. Earlier start.
Let's do it.
Cal Winningham come back next year or no? All right,
Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back. Turkeys.
Later. Hey, best of both worlds.
Oh man. Hey y'all, make sure you subscribe to our other content channel where we're gonna have exclusive content. JB gonna be over there doing this political rant. He gonna be over there with the AEs in the hot tub, cooking, playing with his dogs. Make sure you subscribe.
I got 99 problems, but it ain't one.
And then make sure you become a member here if you haven't yet, man.
I got 99 problems, but
got a loaded for you tomorrow, man. T Rich gonna hop on if his phone can work. We got all Steve Kim gonna hop on. Did the U get snubbed? I already know what he gonna say, but we're gonna talk about that. Boxing, we got Shakur, we got Javante St. Davis saying that he about to retire. Is that true? Is it fake? We got so much tomorrow, man. You got to be here to know that, though.
We got a lot to discuss, but we would be remiss if we don't at least mention on the realest show on planet Earth. We didn't talk about it at all. Juan Soto signed the biggest contract in professional sports history to end this show. We didn't get to it. We had a loaded lineup, loaded show today. Appreciate everybody pounding that like, becoming a member. If you're not a member, become one now, and then subscribe to our other channel. Here's the issue I have. You do realize that this guy just signed more money than LeBron James and Tom Brady's career combined, which is over 45 years combined. This guy just made $15 million more than those two combined.
No cap. Bro, where does baseball find this amount of money? Like,
when nobody shows up to the games and there's nobody there.
How rich are they owners? Like, I don't understand. Like,
well, he's the richest owner in professional sports. Is the Mets owner? I
thought it was a Clippers owner. I thought your boy was. See, JB, in 5 years, we gonna see maybe less. We gonna see the first $1 billion sports contract. I
think we've got a couple soccer guys who've been off.
Well, American sports contract. We're gonna see the first $1 billion. It's gonna be like a fucking 18-year, $1 billion contract in the next 5 years. That's insane. I'm happy for him. It just sounds crazy to say that.
Now, from what I understand, this is not a deferred loan, right?
I don't know.
There's no deferred money on this one. There's no deferred money. Here's the issue. We got somebody that's very, very mad. We got somebody that's very, very mad, Smitty, at this man, Juan Soto, for taking this job. And take a listen to the comedian, actor extraordinaire go off on Juan Soto.
Hey, Juan Soto, I got 2 words for you. Fuck you. That's right. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. And the cavalry behind you. That's right, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm taking it personal. We gave you our love. We gave you our fucking heart and soul. It wasn't enough. You turned your cap around after the World Series. I saw that fucking move. 700 million, 730. Yeah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Guaranteed years, it wasn't enough. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You go off Broadway to the Mets. You don't want to be on Broadway, and you don't want to be Judge's guy. You don't want to be Judge's partner. Oh, that's right, Judge. Now it's your team. That's it. Let's stick it up his fucking ass. That's right. Let's go out. Let's get Burns, Fried, Bregman. Let's fucking Teoscar. I don't give a fuck. Now we're not fucking around. Take those fucking grungy, whatever those fucking, those stupid Mets. Fuck them.
There it is.
I love my boy Brucey.
I should have ate that popcorn.
Hey, man, loaded show today, Smitty. Loaded lineup. We got a loaded show tomorrow. T. Rich Tuesday. Dr. Jesse Morse joins us. We'll talk some more injuries that occurred yesterday and tonight. And then as we get closer to the college football playoff, pound that like, subscribe, become a member. Head on over to CoachJBStore.com. Get you some Slap Dick Nation merch. Get you some merch over there, CoachJBStore.com. And become a member and subscribe to our other channel right now today. It's in the link below as well. So shout out to Smitty. Loaded show. We had, I think, 1,600 in here on YouTube.
17 at one point.
1,700, 5,000 people across all platforms. Shout out to all our sponsors. Skybox.net. Head on over there today. Use our promo code CoachJB. Get you 10% off on one of these tickers for your man cave, for your coaching office. for whatever you want to use it for. And obviously, first-round performance, get the best merch in the business for all you athletes or all you guys trying to get in shape. And then obviously BetUS and Prize Picks. Head on over there today. Use our promo code CoachJB. And Smitty, any last words?
Hey, man, stay black, stay blessed, and attack the day.
Stay white, and make sure that you guys do not watch Indiana play Notre Dame in an absolute shit bowl.
Peace out. USC at the crib. Barely take us out. Peace.